Prophet Marshall Occurrence. So this video is going to be straight to the point. It's going to be about what's going to happen to all the people that depend on medication when the system collapses. What's going to happen to all the people that depend on medication when the American system collapses. What inspired this message was I was thinking about HIV patients. All the people that depend on HIV medicine, when the system collapses, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when the system collapses? You ain't gonna be able to go to CVS. You ain't gonna be able to go to the pharmacy. They gonna raid that. What's gonna happen is that's gonna get looted. That's what's gonna happen. So some people think, well, I'm gonna go down there. Oh yeah, that's an original thought. You think you're the first person thought about that? You'll be bogarted out the way like a little runt, Well, I'm just gonna go down to the pharmacy if I can break in. Yeah, you're not the only one thinking about that. Guess what, buddy? You're gonna be like a little runt trying to get medicine. Well, let me get a couple bottles, guys. Guys, let me get a couple bottles. Guys. Bro, let me tell you something. When this system collapses, which most people believe that it do, everybody, that includes everybody who depends on any type of medication. That's what this is going to be about. Anybody that depend on any type of medication, I don't care what it's for. When the system collapses, and there's no, and obviously there will be no pharmacies, there will be no hospitals, there will be no clinics. How you gonna have your medicine? How you gonna have your medicine? So that's gonna be the first people. See, some people don't think about this in reality. How we know? You didn't think about this. All these happy-go-lucky people out here gang stalking with HIV, they riding around like they're gonna be riding around forever. Listen, buddy, as soon as the system collapses, you ain't gonna get no medicine. You ain't gonna have no HIV medicine. Where you gonna get it from? Oh, here's the other $1 million question. How many bottles you gonna get? So you might get a couple bottles. How you gonna survive? Oh, keep in mind, you might be running around, you might drop the bottles, somebody might steal the bottles. You might be wrestling somebody and lose the bottles on your bag. Somebody rip your bag open, bottles fall out. You just run off, they take the bottles. How are you going to survive without HIV medication when the whole system collapses? Just be honest, you ain't think about this. See, people that's militant minded like me, I think about all these things. We think beyond the average way of thinking, the average person, how they think. We think in terms of survival and things that we need to survive, right? So, in the wilderness, when you go out of the city, you'll be in the woods without HIV medicine. It ain't gonna be nowhere in sight. You ain't gonna be able to find it in the woods. You ain't gonna be able to find it nowhere. If you run to the woods, most people that's smart are gonna go down south. People and the people that telling you it won't happen, those are the optimistic people that they're optimistic to a fault, right? They're the same type of people that would have never thought COVID-19 would have happened. They would have never thought COVID-19 would have happened. If you would have told them a virus gonna come that's gonna kill 1 million people in America, they wouldn't have believed that. No, No, they wouldn't have believed that. That's what I'm trying to show you. No, they wouldn't have believed it. So you can't listen to people like that. You can't listen to people that's telling you, oh, this won't happen, that won't happen, this. How they know? How they know? But what we do know is, as a realist, if this system collapse, which in many ways it could, that's just being a realist. If it collapse, you ain't gonna be able to get no HIV medicine. How you gonna get it? All it takes is for the systems to collapse and there to be total pandemonium. Once it's total pandemonium, how you gonna survive? How you gonna survive on medicine that you get from the pharmacy when there's no pharmacy open? When people done raided all the medicine from the pharmacy. They done broke in and raided all the medicine. They done that at every pharmacy. That's the first thing people gonna do. They gonna raid pharmacies. You ain't think about that, did you? They gonna raid pharmacies, right? Okay, so then if you even get down there, if you even get in, guess what you're gonna find? Oh, I got in. Nothing's there. There's gonna be nothing there. And this don't just apply to HIV patients. This applies to anybody who depends on medicine. When the system collapses, you ain't gonna have nothing. You're gonna be the first vulnerable people when everything falls apart. Because besides food and water and all these other things, see, this is what most people didn't think about. You're gonna need medicine first before you find food and before you in a source of water. So for preppers, the main thing that people will have to find is medication, all type of medication, and it's just no one that's going to have the source for the community. There's no one that's going to have it all. So ultimately, man, a lot of people just going to succumb to not having medication. You're going to have millions die like that. Millions going to die without their medication. Ain't nothing you can do about that. Because once it begins to collapse, the pharmacies itself might take all the medicine off the shelf and do something with it. See, that's the bad part. They ain't gonna just have it up there on the rack when they leave. It ain't gonna be on a rack. It ain't gonna be on the rack when they leave. In the CVS pharmacy. They gonna take that somewhere else. That's the other bad thing. Is the pharmacies is not just gonna have it on racks behind the glass. They ain't gonna have it in racks in the store. All you gotta do is get in. They gonna take that medicine somewhere else. They're gonna take that medicine somewhere else, especially if they know it's real bad and they ain't gonna be back. If they know they ain't gonna run the pharmacies no more, you think they're gonna just leave the medicine up there? So the last day when they know they ain't coming back, they're gonna round up all that medication and you ain't even gonna be able to get the ones in the pharmacy. You ain't gonna be able to get the bottles in the pharmacy. They gonna do something with it. I don't know what they're putting it in some type of storage place, some facility we don't even know. Way somewhere in Kansas or Iowa or somewhere. That only by a fluke, you being in the wilderness, find it. This medicine that's in the city, it's gonna be driven away somewhere, way away somewhere. It ain't gonna be there for you to find. It ain't gonna be there for your convenience, like a convenience store, just waiting behind the glass for you to break in. Oh no, it ain't gonna be like that. So all of y'all that depend on medicine, listen, I hate to tell you, I hate to be a bearer of bad news, but I want to show you reality. You know what reality is? You ain't gonna be able to get your medicine. And the shit hit the fan scenario, SHTF, you ain't gonna be able to get no medicine. You ain't gonna be able to get no medicine, buddy. You ain't gonna be able to get it. Your uncle ain't gonna be able to get no medicine. Your aunt ain't gonna be able to get no medicine. Your grandma, your granddaddy, no medicine. The kids, no medicine. See where I'm going with this? Everybody who depends on medicine ain't gonna be able to get it, buddy. So that community gonna be gone. That community gonna be gone. That's the first community that's gonna go. People gonna die slow. They ain't gonna have the medicine. And honestly, you know, everybody's gonna want it. So if you find sources of medication, the people that you send out there to get it, they ain't gonna be built to fight off the strongest people with guns and arms that's coming to get that's going to strong arm that medicine. They gonna get it all. Whoever got the biggest guns gonna get all that medicine. It's gonna be a cruel world, but you're gonna have to stand back and watch all them people. Even if you can walk 20 miles, right? You can walk 20 miles. As soon as you get to the store, man, people got AK-47s and everything. You ain't get one bottle. You ain't even get one bottle. You walk 20 miles, you ain't get a bottle. I'm just letting you know what's gonna happen. Because this is the part that people are leaving out. Okay, if we don't have no power, we don't have no government, we don't have no nothing, how you gonna have medicine? How you gonna have, and the more complex the situation, the more likely you ain't gonna have it. You ain't gonna have that medicine. HIV, people online might be able to provide, basic medications, but not HIV medication. There is no preparation that a collapsed, chaotic society will have HIV medication. So most people that have HIV, their HIV would just complicate, their viral loads just get more and more until they get AIDS. They'll die slowly from AIDS. Because you ain't gonna have no medication. You ain't gonna have nothing really that's gonna fight it off for sure. I'm just hitting you with the hardcore reality, buddy. If it does collapse, the most vulnerable people is gonna be the first most vulnerable people is what people didn't think about. People that depend on medication. That's gonna be the first vulnerable people hurting from day one. They're gonna be hurting from day one. They're gonna be frantic from day one. Soon as the pharmacy shut down or all these buildings and stores shut down, what you gonna do? See, people been in the cartoon world, buddy. And all that medication, and don't let it be complicated where you need a cocktail of different. Man, listen, you're gonna be in trouble. You're gonna be in trouble. You're gonna die slow. That's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. That's exactly what's gonna happen. So I'm just letting people know what it's really gonna be. You know what I'm saying? This is what it's gonna be. It's gonna be a lot of people that just die for a lack of medication, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna be able to get it. You ain't gonna be able to get it because the people that's really gonna get that medicine is armed men with guns that ain't playing no games and lay out a couple people, shoot a couple people, that's going to be the only people that's going to get the medicine. Okay, that means millions of people gonna die. Whoever depend, I mean, you could go Google how many people depend on medicine and go look that up on AI. Not even HIV medicine, just medicine. Period. How many people in America depend on medicine? That's gonna be millions. That's gonna be millions. That ain't thousands. It ain't thousands. It's gonna be millions of people, especially people with all kind of age complications and all of that. Young kids that depend on medicine every day that you don't think about, that you're not conscious of, all of them. They ain't gonna get that medicine, especially don't let it be nothing complicated. Some rare disease and some rare medication that you can't just go to any old pharmacy and get. They gonna be in trouble. This is something that your government has not even addressed. That in a crisis situation, what is the people gonna do that depend on medication? What they gonna do? Line up somewhere or line up where? Who's gonna be there for the lines? It's not gonna happen, buddy. It's not gonna happen. I promise you not. It's not gonna happen. That's the first people that's gonna get shaved off the community is people that depend on medication. They're gonna be the first ones to go. Some people gotta have medicine every day, especially them. The ones where it's no exceptions. There's no exceptions to these rules whatsoever. They gotta have this medication every day. Them people right there, they gonna be shaved off instantly. They gonna be deleted instantly without the medicine. Okay? It ain't gonna be no hope. What hope? There is no hope. You either got this medicine or you don't. See, this is me being a realist. A realist incorporates reality into their worldviews and their perspectives on situations. Now, optimistic people think you can run around and get medicine. You ain't gonna be able to do that because as soon as you do, you think that's an original thought, meaning you the only one thought about it. No, it's not an original thought. You're gonna have hundreds and hundreds of people hunting down every pharmacy they can think about that they know about. They could probably just sit around and think about the pharmacies that, okay, I was living in that neighborhood, it was a pharmacy over there. There was a pharmacy in this other neighborhood over here. It was a couple of pharmacies, I think, up the street. Yeah, over there on that side, and yeah, down there. People, that's the first thing people gonna do. The smartest people in our society is going straight for the medication. Stupid people gonna go for the food. The smartest people gonna go for the medication. Cause even if I don't need it, I'm gonna be rich. I'm gonna be more powerful than anybody. I got medication. I can get anything done. If I got the medication, I can get anything done. Food is one thing. I can go find birds to eat. I can eat pigeons. And if I was in New York, I could hit pigeons, take sticks and hit pigeons and kill pigeons. Roast them like chicken. Tastes just like chicken. You can't eat pigeons? Shoot, I would. That's the first thing until they get smart. When they get smart, once the pigeons get smart after a couple months, you ain't gonna be able to eat no pigeons. Because they're gonna realize that the humans are hunting them. They ain't gonna be as close to the humans no more. But it's gonna take time for them to realize that's what's going on. So some people won't be smart enough. If I would happen to be in New York, I would be eating pigeons. I'm not taking sticks because they let you get close to them. And unfortunately, I would have to kill those pigeons. I kill a whole bunch of them. I have pigeons for sale. Okay, here's some pigeons. It's just like turkey or chicken. Can't be too much different from one of those. Fowl, any kind of fowl you eat. Chicken or turkey. Something like that. See, this is the reality that people don't want to think about. If this system collapses, all medication, man, is going to be, that's the smartest people is going after these CVS's and these pharmacies, especially the off-brand pharmacies. They might do something stupid. CVS gonna be professional. They gonna get commands from somebody up top. But these other pharmacies, they ain't gonna get no commands from any, maybe not. They ain't gonna get no real professional command. The smartest people gonna go raid them pharmacy, and they ain't gonna care what nobody talking about. You gonna tear the whole pharmacy apart with no hesitation before anybody even get there. Before anybody get there, I'm tearing the pharmacy totally apart, bro. Ain't nobody coming. Police ain't coming. I ain't worried about that. All I'm worried about is anybody else behind me that realize what I'm doing. But most Americans are going to go after food. I'm telling you, that's what they're going to do. In the first moments when this hits the fan, they going after food and water. I mean, it's second in line, but for a person that need medication, I'm going straight to pharmacies, buddy. That's the first raid I'm hitting before anybody think about it. Because most people gonna get, even dudes got guns, they ain't going to no pharmacy. They gonna go and get more guns. They gonna go to gun shops. It might seem like overkill until time goes by. They going to gun shops. They gonna get gold to trade, and they most likely gonna get water. The biggest fight is gonna be water fights, not food fights. Water, because once it's not a flowing sewer system, then you can't even trust the water you drink. If they ain't purifying that water. If all that stopped, you can't even drink water out the faucets. So the biggest fight gonna be water fight, not food fights. So people with guns gonna be involved in fight for guns, gun fights, and water fights. And then it's gonna dawn on them the medicine. It's gonna take everybody time. By that time, the smartest people already done got medicine. That's if you do it as soon as this stuff goes down. If you wait, then anybody's gonna be there. Then they're gonna make their rounds to everything. But it's something to consider, man. Once this all falls off, all these people that depend on medicine, you're gonna be out of here, bro. So you forgot about that, maybe, or maybe you was never conscious of it. You have to have the system. People that depend on medication, you have to have the system to keep that medication going. See how bad it is? See, that's going to be the first people to go. Anybody depend on any type of medication, they're going to be the first one to go. And the sad thing is, it's not going to dawn on them until the next day when they use it. They're going to think, how am I going to keep now my medication? How am I going to keep now my medication? How am I keep this? How am I keep it going? Some people might be a little more dinky. They just take the medication, don't realize until it runs out. You'll be surprised how many people that dinky. Oh, let me take my medication. So, but the smart people gonna think the next time they take it the next day, they're gonna be like, oh, dang, how we gonna give medication? It's gonna take the next day for most people, because most people gonna be apprehensive. They ain't gonna go out there. The smartest people gonna go out there and get what they need. Yeah, a lot of people ain't gonna get no medication. So, so that's the first people that's gonna die. First people that's gonna die, and realistically, is not even from food. It's gonna be people that depend on medication day to day for their survival. Yep. That's gonna be the first people to die. Bottom line. Bottom line. They ain't gonna make it. And the thing about it, like I said, they gonna sit back and wait too late. It's gonna dawn on them. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. Sound like you done bit into a burger with chili on it. Oh man. Oh man. Yeah. Police depend on medication. Freemasons depend on medication. Illuminati depend on medication. These witchcraft people depend on medication. This is what I'm talking about, reality. Now what they gonna do? These psychics, these mind readers. We're gonna call them mind readers. Just in case you don't know what these terms mean. What these mind readers gonna do when they can't get their medication? Oh, they're gonna read. They're gonna read the pharmacy. They're gonna bring it from the pharmacy. They're gonna float it from the pharmacy. They're gonna drag it from the pharmacy. They're gonna drag it from the pharmacy. See, they gonna be lost in the world, bro. That's what I'm telling you. They ain't gonna want to live. Now you're gonna see you really wasn't manipulating the world. You really wasn't doing nothing. That's why I keep trying to tell them they ain't doing nothing. You think you're doing something, you ain't doing nothing. It boggles my mind that they think they're doing something in the world we live in. You can see why we think we doing something. You can see why we think we doing something. I can't see why you think you're doing something. No, I can't see why you think you're doing something. I don't get it. I don't get it, but I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it, buddy. This is the biggest punchline that I ain't heard no preppers talk about. They talk about all these scenarios. See, a black man I mean, I ain't racist, man, but I'm just saying, I'ma just reason differently, bro. I'm just thinking about stuff that most, I don't know, man. I'm just thinking about stuff that most people ain't thinking about. Like, medicine. All these people that depend on medicine, what they gonna do? You lucky if you have maybe 3 bottles, right? You lucky. But how long can you really stretch that? They ain't gonna last for so long. So the first shaving off of the community is going to be people that need medication, just without any fighting, anybody shooting them and killing them or anything like that. They gonna die from a lack of medication. All these HIV patients, all in Haza, all everywhere. All these HIV patients. I hate to tell you, man. When this stuff hit the fan, when the doo-doo hit the fan, when the dookie hit the fan, listen, when the poop hit the fan, when the boo-boo hit the fan, listen, when the boo-boo hit the fan, bro. when the boo-boo hit the fan, bro, I don't know what you're gonna do. When the dookie hit the fan, I don't know what you're gonna do. Because you gotta have that medicine. HIV patients gotta have the medicine. What you gonna do? You gonna think about it at the last minute and run around down there and wind up losing your life trying to fight for medicine. It ain't gonna work. You're gonna have people down there strong arming that medicine. By the time the average American, especially Americans, by the time the average American think about it and it dawns on them and they get the courage to find a pharmacy, it's going to be too late. You're going to come to scraps. You might be lucky if some kind of rolled around under the table. That's what you need to be looking at. Did some roll under the table? Did some roll? You might be lucky about 5 bottles rolled under the table. They just getting stuff. But 5 bottles is 5 bottles. Then what after 5 bottles? Or after 10 bottles? Or after 20 bottles? Which you probably won't get them about 20 bottles. After 20 bottles, what you gonna do then? Keep in mind, rugged as you will be living, all of that could get stolen. You could get in a fight and somebody grabs your bag and rips your book bag apart, and all your medicine fall out. You ain't gonna run after the medicine, and this person is behind you. You gonna keep running, and therefore all your medicine is gone. You gotta remember the shipwrecks that can easily happen. You can wake up in the middle of the night, all your medicine gone. All that medicine you went and got, and you thought you had it made for at least the next year. Because you got 12 bottles, right? Gone. And now the conditions of the pharmacies is worse than ever. They're nothing but bleached bones in the sun now. The pharmacies is nothing but bleached bones in the sun. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. Literally. Nothing. They took everything. They probably even took paper to wipe their butts. The bags to put the medication in, they took that to wipe their butt. Hey, I would. Eventually paper's gonna run out. I'm getting all that paper. See, that's the smartest people. I'm getting everything. Containers, everything. There's nothing gonna be there when I walk away. Nothing. Chairs, everything. I will get everything. Literally. Plants. Hey, well, this plant might be edible. The little plant in the waiting room. All right, well, let's get that. We'll figure it out. We might could eat that later. You got to think like you in the future already. Okay, I'm getting them plants. I'm getting these chairs. I'm getting paper. I'm getting everything out this place. I'm getting every time. I ain't leaving one bottle in here. Hey, we don't know. Listen. We'll figure it out later. Somebody might give us gallons of water for them little bottles of medicine right there. We're getting everything. See, if you're smart, that's the first place you're gonna go. Is these pharmacies. You're gonna strong arm. Ain't nobody standing in my way. Because at that time, the police ain't gonna be nothing. I'm shooting anybody standing in my way. I ain't even asking you no questions. But see, the main lions you have to worry about are the military and the police. It is the police. That's what you got to worry about. They're gonna be strong arming too. more than anybody, it's going to be military, police, ex-military, retired military, retired police, active military, retired military, active police, and retired police. Them four right there are going to be getting everything. They're going to be trying to get everything they can. They the ones going to be riding around. Thugs and gangsters is just, first of all, they got family. So the first thing you're going to be surprised about with a thug and a gangster is they gonna be trying to protect their family. That's all they really going to be trying to do. Which means they going to conform more to the format of a civilian. They ain't going to be on no riding around like we see on these videos and riding around like Mad Max. Nah, they ain't going to be doing that. In reality, man, all these thugs and gangsters got like 2 or 3 kids. They gonna be trying to I don't know, find a way through it for their kids. Protect their kids as much as they can. That's all they're gonna be doing, just like anybody else. Thugs and gangsters gonna see how helpless they are, because everybody got guns now, and guess what? Ain't nobody scared to use them. Ain't nobody scared of you. No one cares who you are. As long as they see a body, they gonna shoot. And the only way you gonna survive is if you can shoot back. Ain't nobody gonna be intimidated by nobody with a gun. So a thug is just another person in the crowd now. A gangster is just another person in the crowd. See, I'm showing you the truth. You think somebody gonna care if you a gangster? If I got this gun, listen, I don't care who you are. I'm shooting first and asking questions later. Like questions like, was he a gangster? That's gonna be asked after you're shot down. See, now thugs and gangsters can install fear into the people and intimidate the people and everything with the politics and riding around. But when total chaos hits the fan, when the doo-doo hit the fan, when the boogie hit the fan, listen. When the boo-boo hit the fan, listen. When the boo-boo hit the fan, hey, when the boo-boo hit the fan, bro, listen. When the feces hit the fan, when the diarrhea hit the fan, when the stew hit the fan, when the turds hit the fan, hey, when the turds hit the fan, all a thug gonna be able to do is play the game of survival of the fittest. Ain't nobody gonna be intimidated. They coming out wild, we coming out wild. Boom, ow. shooting as soon as something come on the scene. See, for most kids that grew up in the video game era, like I did, when it became virtual reality, like 007, Nintendo 64, we already grew up learning how to shoot through maps. If military would tell you, that basically could be a way to train somebody to shoot in real time. If you sent kids to learn military shooting mentally, right? The games we've been playing would basically kind of give you a groundwork to how to maneuver around with guns and shoot targets. How many times you did that playing Nintendo 64? You maneuvered 1,000,000 times. 1,000,000, literally, for many players. You maneuvered, meaning you moved around gunfighting 1,000,000 times, and all you got to do is snap that on, and it's just like reality. I mean, reality is just like the video game. That's why many people start complaining about it, because when they start making games that was pretty good, like Nintendo 64, 007 GoldenEye, I had that game, right? It taught you how to be in a real, other than those other video games where you jumping around on these imaginary platforms and all stuff like Mario, that ain't gonna be real. But when we got to them games where it was like a real human being in real human being settings, right? That your brain was trained to be in those settings. That's why a lot of people in America was complaining about it, because that was basically training my generation to learn how to shoot in environments. Not just pull a gun, learn how to shoot, maneuver, run through. All you gotta do is, all you gotta tell my generation and younger to do is act like it's a video game. They can say, okay. If you had teenage shooters with you, all you gotta do is tell them to act like it's a video game. As soon as you see something on the horizon, you shoot it. You don't wait. You don't get scared. When you play the game, do you get scared? If you see something on the horizon, no. You shoot until it's gone. As soon as you see something, you shoot. See, so we already got a type of situational environmental training. My generation already trained. Crazy, right? But it's true. If you think of things in terms of 007 GoldenEye, you'll be amazed at how far that'll get you in a real gunfight. No, I'm serious. It's one thing to talk about Mario. Mario was jumping on Yoshi and dinosaurs and stuff. We ain't talking about that. We talking about GoldenEye, where you was doing missions. You were going into facilities, running upstairs and going downstairs. Your brain was going into these different doors, and that your brain was doing that. That was like a real life setting. Like it was taking your brain or you into these different terrains and environments. All you got to do is apply that. All you got to do is snap that into real life. I promise you, you listen, that'll take you further than anything else you're thinking about, because especially if you ain't got no experience with shooting guns really at people, or shooting guns period, the video game perspective is going to be the best format. You'll be like, oh, okay, I got this. All you got to do is suppress your emotions. That's going to be the hardest thing for some people to do. When you kill, especially a lot of people, how you think soldiers deal with it? They have to suppress their emotions, put it away. You can't think about how many people you killing. You can't think about it, which is back to a video game. It's back to a video game. In the video game, you don't think about how many bodies you killing. You have to be as heartless as literally a video game where you just shooting people down like that. See, my generation is like I tell people, we are the only generation that could have saved America. Generation X. The kids that's younger than us, they too doctrinized. They too doctrinized with deception, all type of deception that we ain't even really looked into. The truth is, we ain't even looked into all the deception that's been given to our children. No. We looked into, to keep it 100, we ain't looked into all of it. Because we don't want to, just like most parents. We don't want to look into all the stuff they looking into. That's how kids get in their own world. And then you don't know how they became who they became. Because you stop investigating the world they live in. You start looking in the world they lived in. Then they get all these worldviews from wild people. And they become wild animals. So that's just how it is. I advise all people, man, listen, to realize the world, this is what you, as far as America, this is what you was not anticipating. Real life that the government cannot control. This is what's coming. Real life that the government can't control. We so used to America fixing things like an alpha male husband. You know how an alpha male husband is. His wife has full confidence in his abilities. She's seen him fix everything. She's seen him fix the roof. She's seen him fix the washer, the dishwasher. She's seen him fix the TV, even the video games for the kids. He even fixed the game console. He fixed everything. And she stands back in confidence, knowing that her husband can fix almost anything. And that's how America sits back with the government. We think they can fix everything. We sit back like Donald Trump is our husband. I don't, but you do. Like he can fix everything. Like he can fix all this situation in Iran, and everybody's starting to change. I told people, Iran is a whole different animal, man. And Trump is coming in basically just with this confidence, this unrealistic confidence. And I mean, you could be the baddest military talent, and you just can't predict what's going to happen in this situation. Nobody can. Nobody can tell you what's going to happen. Iran is a whole different ball game. I'm not saying be a coward, but if you can leave America, I advise you to do that. But the best time is now, right now. If you can leave America, if you're lucky enough to leave America, you should right now. I'm being real with you. If you got enough money and you got somewhere that you can feel like you could adjust and feel like it's home, and you could enjoy the simple things in life, I would do it if it was me. The only thing holding me back is money. I wouldn't be here in America. People say, go back to your own home country. You gonna pay for it? You gonna pay for it? Tell me to go back to my own home country gladly. I mean, you gonna pay for it though? You gonna pay for it? You ain't gonna pay for it. Are you gonna pay for me to go back? You not. Okay. So then you're just being cliche. That's just cliche, right? Because you ain't gonna pay for it. That's the only reason with some of us here. We ain't here because we like America no more. I'm only here because I gotta be, because I ain't got no bread. And man, I go somewhere like the Philippines or Cambodia, Vietnam, somewhere like that. Have me a little lake I fish at every day. Give me a little wifey. Make love to my little wife. Have me a little house, little thing. You know what I mean? It'd be cool for me. Swim in the water. Find me a little place to swim, fish and swim. I'm good. I love fishing. I find me a little lake to fish at every day. Maybe hunt some animals, stuff like that. Eat some fresh meat. Maybe grow a garden, something like that. Stuff like that, man. That's the kind of life I'm kind of shooting for these days. City life, burnt out on it, bro. Burnt out on it. Now I'm more thinking about things I miss the most, like nature, fishing, swimming in the water. When the last time you went swimming? You know what I mean? I'm thinking about stuff like that now, like swimming. I love swimming. I love fishing. I love water. You know, New York ain't got that really. You know what I'm saying? Nah. Not to a southern man like me. So if I could go to another country where I could fish, swim, have me a little hut, that's all I need, me and my wife. You know what I mean? That's all I need. See, people got to get simple-minded. You got to get simple, not simple-minded, but simple. You know what I'm saying? Like Tupac said, I'm a simple man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a simple man, meaning I just like the simple things in life. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to have all this extravagance. I'm not hating on nobody, but for me, my day-to-day desires are pretty simple. You know, have me some wine, drink wine, and make love to my wife, go fishing, swimming, hunting a little bit, gun practice. That's it. Exercise, you know, working out. That's it. Pretty much. And what else is there to do? What else? Maybe go to some places or shows or something. I mean, you know, something like that. Restaurants. What else though? Really? Especially with the internet. So with the internet, that made it even better to be like in a remote place, because I mean, you got all entertainment right there at your hands. Internet done took, for most people that live already the lifestyle I was living, they got it made now. Because they got all the entertainment they want. They got all the entertainment they want with their smartphones. And they can just go fishing and live a remote-like life away from people, but you still got entertainment. You still got entertainment, good entertainment, everything. That's all a man really needs. That's all a man needs. That's why even going down to the country, down south, all you need down there is the internet. You can go live in the boondocks, but you got the internet. You got all the entertainment. See, people forgot about that as far as what can you do in the country? I mean, we can figure it out because you got the internet. That's gonna connect you to the world. The only thing you might not have is all these little outings. You know what I'm saying? Which the quality of people have changed anyway. I mean, going to these outings, I'm gonna tell you who's gonna have more of a problem with it. Women. Women love to go out, right? Women love to go out. Men, we don't really care. Most men, like, I can chill at the house. Pay attention. Most men, I can chill at the house, turn up at the house, get tipsy, watch some movies. That's all really black men want to do. I don't have to go out. No, because I don't really like people like I used to. Keep it real. I don't really like people around my woman like I used to. That's because times have changed. People are nasty and people flirt easily and nastily easily. They flirt with your woman right in your face, looking at your woman, staring at your woman in your face. Come on, let's keep it real. Most men, you dread going out. You know why? Because of the people. The quality of the people have changed. It ain't because you're insecure. It's because the people changed. That's what it is. They do look at your woman out the way, trying to get you mad. You know what I'm saying? Hating on you. I remember this one dude, I came out the store, he looking right at my, you gotta know me and her together. This dude, you can see how close we walking together. How I'm right behind her like that. If they ain't my woman. He gonna look at me, look at her, look at me, and look at her butt right in my face. I'm like, bruh. Now see, I could start a problem. Yo, that's my woman. Why you looking at my woman? I'm like, see, that's how some people are. But see, you can't control that really. You gotta pick your battles wisely when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? You do, because some dudes gonna do that on purpose. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure this person did it on purpose. I'm pretty sure he did. I'm pretty sure he did. He just try to see what type of man I am. You know what I'm saying? Because some men can't handle that. Some men, you look at their woman, they got a problem. But most men gonna have that healthy jealousy over their woman. You supposed to. If you don't have no healthy jealousy over your woman, some women, that's how they wind up in the arms of somebody else. You gotta have healthy jealousy, man. You got to. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Where your eyes are open. You know what I'm saying? You know, you're not insecure, no, but your eyes are open. You know what I'm saying? You ain't letting just anybody talk, flirt with your woman. You see somebody side looking at your woman, and it's just extra talking when you turn your head, all that kind of stuff. See, all that kind of stuff. Signals they throwing while you looking the other way, trying to holler. You know what I'm saying? All that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody can get nothing past me. That'll never happen. You know what I'm saying? I catch everything. But see, when you smart like that, you got to have the right woman. You got to have a woman that understands the same level of smarts. Because she might be innocent, but the next dude is just taking advantage of your innocence. Makes sense? He's taking advantage of it. You genuinely just trying to talk to this person, but he's getting off on interacting with you. We got them type of people. It ain't innocent. You know what I'm saying? You see a woman first thing she gonna say, it wasn't nothing. That's how a woman is. Because women are used to socializing with everybody. Because they need people. I'm not trying to make that sound sexist. But a woman needs, for example, In most cases, a woman needs somebody to fix her car, right? She got to go talk to these dudes. You know what I'm saying? She needs somebody to do some physical work, some roof cleaning. Okay, she got to go talk to these dudes, right? So a woman is just used to interacting with men and being a little bit friendly as you're supposed to be. So in the middle of that, a woman will size everything up based like on that lane, but it really ain't. She'll say it was just the equivalent of just business or talking through something. But a man can read between the lines. You know what I'm saying? And we know this person is getting off on it. You know what I'm saying? We know this man is getting off on interacting with your woman. You know what I'm saying? It could be anywhere. It could be anywhere. So for most men, that's something that we dread. So with that being said, for our day to be quality, we could just be at the house. We don't need to go out. You know what I mean? Because more times than not, man, couples gonna tell you, yeah, this dude did violate. You know what I'm saying? Or your woman, you gonna accuse her of being gullible. Like just talking to everybody, you know, you like she don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? And then you go, that's how arguments can get started. You know, you got to be like, see, I done been a married man. That's how I know. See, I done been an innocent man where I go into a store and women pay attention to me, right? And my wife like, oh, how does it feel to be admired, Marcello? In a sarcastic way. In a sarcastic way. She's like, she sounded like a villain almost. How does it feel to be admired, Marcello? I'm like, huh? What you talking about? Because my mind is innocent. I'm not thinking about no females. If I'm with my wife at the grocery store, I'm not thinking about no female. I don't see them. But I ain't even know. Like I don't have eyes for anybody else. Women might say they don't have eyes for other people, but they do pay attention. While us as loyal men, we blind ourselves to other people. That's what a loyal man will do. A loyal man will just blind himself to females, and that's how we get through it. We'll look head up. You know, we'll talk to you head up. You know, we ain't gonna look you up and down and all that. Because one of men's pet peeves is wandering eyes. If your woman's eyes is wandering, and you kind of catch her looking at other dudes, I mean, how you process that? But see, one thing about a woman don't like to be controlled. But so it has to be in her value system. If it ain't, she gonna feel like you controlling her. Yeah, she gonna feel like you controlling her. So it got to be in her value system to not have wandering eyes. She got to have it for herself. The good way to show her though is that you wouldn't want me looking at all these women, and women are more eye candy than men. So you know, you don't want me to be looking at having a wandering eye looking at all these women. How you gonna feel? I mean, oh, it's okay. Okay, so I can look at all this eye, what people call eye candy. I can look at all these women. You ain't gonna say nothing. That's the kind of conversation you should have with your woman. No, I ain't gonna say nothing. Wait till it happens. Wait till she see a woman that she feel like you would like. That kind of stuff. Oh, she gonna think like you would like her, right? Now try to talk to that woman. I mean, or try to look at her. Try to look at the woman that she think you might like. You can already tell as soon as she meet her. You can tell the look on her face. She ain't talking. That's how you know. She quiet, ain't she? That's how you know. But see, a man loyal. In my opinion, a man is more loyal than a woman. Yeah, all day. A man gonna be more loyal in most cases. A good man, he gonna be more loyal than a woman. It's just what it is. I feel that way. I definitely feel that way. Cause we look at it like keeping it 100. A woman don't really, you can find a street chick that understand what keeping it 100 mean, but it goes beyond. That's why I keep telling these lames. It goes beyond violence. It goes beyond the streets. It goes to everything, relationships and everything. If I'm with you, I'm with you. That's why white girls date real niggas. Because she know he ain't gonna cheat on her. Most of them ain't gonna cheat. Nah, we ain't gonna cheat. If you're doing everything right. Nope. I'm gonna be 100 about everything. That's why the white girl gonna go with a real nigga. That's if you don't know why. It ain't cause he a tough guy. She done sat back and studied everything he think about. Everything he think about is 100. Everything. And she like it. Like, I talk to him about everything. He 100 on everything. It's just back to what I said. Women coming to men for things. And women come to men for guidance. This is why men like me, listen, I always keep me a woman because, see, my strong suit is going to be guidance. I can guide a woman. I can give a woman wisdom, information, and show her what life is going to be. Just for example, me talking about this medication. Most dudes might not even think about this. But think about my companion, my female. She'll be like, oh man, my husband already done thought about the pharmacies shutting down or whatever and what we supposed to do in the medication. See, a woman got to have that security. That's a type of security. That's intellectual wisdom. That's wisdom security. If you with a man, he can have guns and everything, but if he can't tell you what's going on for the future or what's ahead, a woman can feel insecure in any area. That's why the men that got a good woman, the best woman the best man is gonna be the woman, the man that make the woman feel the less insecure as possible. You take away all her insecurities, financial insecurity, shelter, place to live, food, everything. Now you got the woman, but see, most of us never experience a woman that feels totally secure, which means you haven't experienced the best sex. No, because, and that's me included, because when a woman is totally secure, now she gonna open up. Totally, man. Like, we ain't even never experienced that, like what some of these white dudes experience. Your woman, let me give you a scenario. Let's just say you got enough money to last. Let's just say you got millions of dollars. Your woman is feeling great about the future. That part, she's feeling great. Guess what? She ain't got nothing to argue about. She ain't got nothing to worry about as far as financially, right? And then let's say on top of that, you a stand-up guy. You know what I'm saying? You got weapons, you got guns. You know what I'm saying? You know, and you make her feel safe. You got land, you got a house, you even got that secure. Because women can find insecurity. They can find it. Okay? Because they're going to ask questions about, well, how long can we have this a place to live? And how we going to do it? So, if she feel like she got land, and she got a place to live, she got money, she got food, she got everything, and she's secure in you as being loyal to her, right? She feels you're a monogamous person. You're going to practice monogamy with her. Oh, okay. You're not a promiscuous person. Oh, okay. She's secure emotionally, relationally. Now, make love to that kind of woman. She gonna do everything. She gonna feel great. She gonna make love to you like a stallion. But if she got worries about bills and things like our women do, and think about it. This is a female. If you understand females, now you see we ain't been getting the best sex. No, we haven't. We can give as black men. We can give the best sex, but we're not getting the best sex. See the difference? Oh, you giving it all, your all. you a fifth of vodka, and you gonna give your all. Hey, a fifth of vodka, and you gonna give your all, buddy. But what about her? She wanna go to sleep. Hey, halfway through the bottle, she ready to go to sleep, ain't she? That part. Oh, she wanna lay down while you putting on music. Oh, you know us as black men. Oh, you done got tipsy, now you playing your playlist. You playing your playlist. Come on. You done played your old school best. Now you kind of, you done went into this mix. You know how we go into the mix? You trying to put a little mix together. You improvising a little mix, right? She want to lay down. Bipolar stuff, right? Why you want to lay down, baby? Dang. Come on, why you tripping? You tipsy and everything. I'm ready to go to sleep. Am I right or wrong? How many nights you done that'll happen to you? Ah, baby, come on, come on. And then guess what? You get frustrated, right? You get frustrated. Guess what? You wind up staying up and let her go to sleep and turn up some nights, don't you? You go ahead and finish off the vodka and listen to music. How many nights you done that? You know why? I'm gonna tell you. You know why that music, that energy is between you and your woman? Because she's insecure, bro. She's worried about money. She's worried about stability. She carries that weight her whole life. That's how the white man beat us down. Because our women always worried about money. They don't feel like these other women that's liberated and happy and everything like that. They don't feel like them women. They admire these women. They draw from these women, but they don't totally feel like these women because they worried about bills. They worried about their finances. They worried about stability. They worried about 10 years from now where I'm gonna be. That's normal. So our women don't open up. Like, and we never get to see certain parts of our woman. Like when she's totally happy and free and animated and smiling in your face and just gleeful. You know what I'm saying? Just happy. We don't never get to experience that. See, that's one thing that the white man took from us as far as being racist. I ain't gonna take your finances. I am gonna take your finances. I am gonna take your finances. I'm not gonna call you a nigga. I ain't gonna call you that. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take your money. I'm gonna take your money, and guess what? You ain't gonna be nothing to your woman. Oh, you got some good sex, so that'll be good. Most black men, that's how we survive. Oh, let's keep it real. You got a big penis, it done got you off the streets many nights, ain't it? Oh, that's how you know the difference. That's how you know you're a black man. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. I mean, you know, you got in the house and you cleaned up and you got yourself together. I ain't saying you was a bum, but that penis got you in the dough. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100. Now you cooking, you know what I mean? You know, now you fronting all around the house, chilling, turning up, drinking, staying up late. She done went to sleep, you staying up late. See, that's for young dudes. You know, that's how you know I'm still young, but I'm old a little bit. You can tell the difference when you hear me talk, right? Young dudes gonna stay up all night and drink, listen to music, listen to your playlist by yourself, cause your female gonna go to sleep. Oh yeah, she get a couple drinks. She might drink a whole fifth if you got that kind of woman. But really, she probably gonna drink about half of it, and she want to go to sleep. Man, listen, man. When it come to partying, that's another thing. We ain't really had no woman that ever party on our level. Keep it 100. Nah. I ain't never had no woman really just stay up all night and drink with me. No. And then when I was smoking weed, man, listen, I'm not trying to go back to it, but I'm just saying, man, I was getting good weed from Jamaica. Everybody know about Jamaica, Queens, and all that weed over there, right? So, everybody know the spot, right? Yeah. So, I was getting weed from over there. That was my little outing when I moved from over there. I go over there just for a little outing, you know what I'm saying? Smoke a blunt when I go over there. Just chill, post up a little bit, smoke a blunt. Take the rest home, right? So, this one time I got all this good weed. I got like 2 bags. I wound up getting like 3 bags. Cause some other dude talked me into, everybody hustling at the same spot, whatever, right? So, so, I came back home with all this weed, and I got a pipe. I said, forget it. I done spent money. I threw my hands up. I said, I done spent money. I might as well give me a pipe too. So I got me a weed pipe. I'm smoking weed straight out the pipe. Boom. Man, I take it back. Man, don't you know, I'm smoking all this weed by myself. She wasn't a party girl. You know what I'm saying? I'm smoking all this weed by myself. Up with a, and she laid over. You know what I'm saying? Like, how I feel is it's insecurities, man, about the future. You can't, your woman can't focus on having a good time. You know what I'm saying? Most men, that's how we know, especially we come from that. And if our dad was anything like that, that's how we gonna be. If your dad know how to set the mood, your dad always did stuff for your mom on the holidays, Valentine's Day. I mean, you paid attention, right? Okay, so for Valentine's Day, they went to the room. Your mama then went to the room for Valentine's Day. You know what I'm saying? And you learn those habits from your father. Like, I've given women Valentine's Day. You know what I'm saying? I've made women Valentine's Day. Well, they ain't never had one. I did the whole thing. The roses on the bed, the wine, the liquor, the weed. I brought all of that. See, when I was working at the hospital that year, in 2009, that probably was my best Valentine. 2009, that rhymes, don't it? 2009 Valentine's. That was probably my best Valentine, even up to this day. Because, first of all, I was financially stable. I had money. I was working. So, I was out in the world. You know what I'm saying? I was getting bread. And I was enjoying my life. I had this female. There was no strings attached. Me and her just was together. But it was no strings attached. It wasn't no pressure. Because this was after my marriage. So I approached women differently, like just to have a good time. Because I didn't want nothing serious after a divorce. I didn't want anything serious. But most women always lean into talking about marriage, Even this woman, she was saying, I might give you my hand or whatever, all this stuff. But we just had love. We had no arguments. This particular woman, most good men gonna say I had at least one woman that I ain't have no arguments with. None. I had no arguments with this woman. And when we left each other, we just drifted. We just drifted away. She just walked away. It was weird, like spiritual almost. She walked away. I walked away. I didn't even call her. I didn't even pursue her. She didn't pursue me. I didn't pursue her. It's like we had our time and we just went our separate ways. I've never had that kind of experience ever. Like that. No arguments, no breakups, nothing. Nothing serious at all. No, not when you arguing with this person. Nothing. Like that Valentine's Day with that type of vibe me and her had. I put roses all on the bed. I did. She never had a Valentine's Day. I put roses from the door all the way to the bed. And put I bought a whole dozen of roses. I took all the petals off from the door all the way to the bed. And then put the rest on the bed. You know what I'm saying? And I got a card. I think I got a card. Of course, I'm gonna get the weed and the liquor and the wine. See, at that time, me and her were drinking liquor and wine. Boy, you ever had that kind of thing? That kind of love going on? I was taking bottles of liquor and wine to the both. Like, wee, and the weed. And see, at the time, I was doing so good. This is what type of person I am. If I'm doing good in a relationship, I don't ask no woman for nothing. I don't ask no one to do nothing for me if I can't do it. If I can do it, I ain't gonna ask her to do it. Cause I want to do my own thing. I want to plan. I want to do all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna kind of do my own thing anyway. If she want to incorporate what she want to do, even financially, that's up to her. But if you kind of just cool with letting me be the maestro, I'm gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? So I used to ask her to just come, have a good time. That's it. I'm gonna pay for the room. That's just how you know I'm a grown man. I go pay for room, the weed, the liquor, the wine, everything. She ain't pay for nothing. No food. Of course I'm gonna buy food, everything. That's when I was working and doing good. I was working at the hospital. So that's how you know I'm a professional person. That's why I'm big on being professional, because I used to work at the hospital, which means you're clean. You got to be clean at the hospital for your own good. You got to wear gloves. I used to have to deal with blood and everything. So I had to be a clean person working at the hospital. I couldn't be half-assed, you know what I'm saying? And you got blood, needles, and everything, and with syringes all around. You got to pay attention. You can't be half-assed. So that's why I'm probably most likely like this from working at the hospital, But working there, I had money to burn. You know what I mean? I just had money. I wasn't wanting for nothing. Cause if I didn't have it that week, I was gonna get it the next week, like that, like a working man. If I ain't got it this week, it ain't gonna be long before I get money again. And then and then at that time at the hospital, they would add a day's wage on every pay period. And you can let that stack. You don't have to get that off. So you'll have an account at the hospital. You get a day's wage, 8 hours, for free. Every pay period, every 40 hours, right? You getting a day's wage, and you can let that stack every week, right? I used to let it stack all at one time, and then just take it out, go to the room, boom. When I knew I want to go to the room, I want to do something else. And then at the hospital, you can go to any computer on any floor and log into your account like that. So like if I ain't got nothing to do, I'll log in, say I want to do something for the weekend. Okay, I'm going to go to a random computer, pull up my ID, everything, go into my account, throw my money on my pay period, throw all them free day wages, them days wages, throw them all, as many as I got. I could throw it all on there, 2, 3, or the whole thing, the whole ooh-wah. Put it on my next pay period, boom, just like that. I got a bank account. I go to a real bank. You know what I'm saying? I had it like that. I was at the bank, take my money, go to the bank, everything. See, every man should be able to tell you something like that in his life. You know what I'm saying? It's something like that, or even better. Every man should be able to tell you some of that. You know what I'm saying? Some little place where you was doing pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Having fun. You know what I'm saying? Making money. Come on. I was making so much money. I was doing so good. I had 401k. I had the 401k. So I had benefits. And I didn't even count my money. I didn't count it. I wasn't scraping. I wasn't counting. I wasn't thinking about this and doing that and scraping and all. I'm just spending what I want to spend like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was getting raises. I was constantly getting raises on top of that. It was a perfect job for me, man. I worked at third shift, so I'm good at working at night, But the only problem was they brought in this white boy. So you already see the problem, don't you? This white boy manager. This manager was a white boy, 22 years old, right? At the time, I'm 28. So I'm older than my manager. This is a white boy that got a job because his mom worked at the hospital. So it wasn't that he had the skills or he didn't understand the company or our department and how it ran. It wasn't that he specialized or qualified in it. His mom I heard it through the grapevine that his mom got him the job. Right? So he came in the job trying to act like he mattered, and really at the hospital, managers just come in and maintain. They don't act like they matter, like they gotta show you that they're important and they're valuable. It's just that's how a white boy gonna come in. A black dude gonna come in and fall in line and be cool. You know what I'm saying? Why stand out? Why stand out? I'm gonna come in, if everything good and cool, I'm gonna just come in and fall in line like double dutch. I'm gonna just get right in. Boom. I'm not gonna complicate things. I ain't gonna make it more complicated than it have to be. White boy came in trying to change. He came in trying to change how we wear our aprons, and we had to wear these big huge aprons and gloves and all of this kind of stuff, man. And I'm the guy that changed that in our department. I'm the guy that changed that in our department. Because this dude was trying to get us to wear the same gloves every day at the hospital. Sounds dirty. Anybody worked in the hospital know what that sounds dirty already. You gotta handle all this stuff day in, day out, and you wearing the same nasty gloves. We like to wear disposable gloves. And then we black dudes, right? We come fresh as we can. I'm wearing my fragrances, cologne. I come in smelling good and fresh every day. You know what I'm saying? And he trying to cramp our style. He a white boy. He trying to make us look goofy. So he gave us these long gloves that make us look all goofy and everything. I'm like, so I found online, if you sweat inside these gloves, eventually it'll create mildew, and that mildew can get into your pores and be absorbed into your blood. So when I explained this to him and showed him online, I showed him everything. I'm that type of person. I'm a research information. Even back then, and he despised me because I changed everything for the whole department. This is a huge department. It got first, second, and third shift. I was the only person that changed this, from my understanding. Other people might have talked about it, but I talked about it intelligently. So even in my job, I've always been this type of person. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna pull up information. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna show you the liabilities. I'm gonna show you everything. So I did that with him, and I changed everything. So we got to wear disposable gloves again. We ain't look crazy with these big aprons on and these long gloves, cramping our style. We black dudes, we want to look fresh to these nurses. I'm just keeping it real. It was all these beautiful nurses in there. And to be honest with you, that's how I got over my ex-wife. All these beautiful women I was interacting with, working at the hospital. So a black man gonna come fresh, you know what I'm saying, smell good. You know what I mean? You interacting with these nurses and everything. So a couple doctors, I think, too. He was just trying to cramp our style and making us wear these long gloves, and I'm the one that changed that for the department. So after that, I didn't realize it because I was young. I had a target on my back because now he felt some type of way. But I was too young to see it. Something I wouldn't even care about. But I'm thinking, as a young man, okay, I fixed things, everything, that's good, now it's back to normal. I'm not thinking, oh, this dude finna try, he finna be riding me. So you get older, you realize, oh, okay, you can see the signs, okay, this dude gonna try to ride me. See, I realized what it was about. Once I changed things for the department, he seen I was a smart black man, he couldn't stand me. I think it was for that reason. When I articulated myself, I can show him why we should be wearing these gloves. See, I did stuff like this at work. I can't stress this enough. I showed this white man, we can't wear these gloves because all the sweat is going to turn into mildew, especially with some men. You know how some men are. They just working. They don't even care. You know what I'm saying? They just throwing them in the locker because we had lockers and everything. So he just throwing them in the lockers, right? So, he ain't thinking, most men ain't thinking nothing about it. I probably saved people. Because most men ain't going to just throw the gloves. He ain't going to turn them inside out. See, that's what you could do. You can wash them and turn them inside out. Most dudes ain't gonna do that, man. They gonna throw them gloves in that locker and get out of there. And they gonna put them same gloves on. You know what I'm saying? So for just not being a liability to your workers, those gloves had to go. So I was the one that basically changed that for my department. I also received an award for performance of excellence. In that same in the hospital, I got an award. They gave me a plaque, like an award. So yeah, that's why I got down. You know what I'm saying? I got money. I had fun. You know, it was an all black department basically. So we had fun. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't nothing serious. We was having fun, making money, everything. And then that dude came along. So how I quit that job was because he messed me up on bereavement, right? He told me to take as much time as I want. So when I took over 3 days, he wrote me up, right? Which was an insult to injury, being that I lost my loved one. You know what I'm saying? And he told me to take as much time as I want. That's leeway, right? We call that leeway. That's leeway. You give me leeway and tell me to take as much time as I want. That means I'm supposed to take more than the standard time, which is 3 days for bereavement, right? Okay, so he wrote me up for like 3 days and my grandmother had passed. So can you imagine the insult to that? Remind you, I've been in this department way before he came along. I done got the respect of managers. I done got the respect of staff, everybody. You know, I'm the same personality. I check people. I make people do their job. Oh, I was doing that too. Yeah. Second shift come in, leave me dirty. Got all kind, go find all kind of stuff. No, y'all gotta get this, bro. I'm the same nigga I am now. I was the same nigga then. I come into my third shift. I'm like, yo, how is all this stuff here if they was working? It's not even normal. Even if a shift change, it's not even that's not normal. You got to communicate with them nurses. You know what I'm saying? Let them know. Let me go ahead and get that trash out your way. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so they kept burning me, man. Like I come in, I got all this trash running over. Like it looked like they ain't been doing nothing all shift. And these was kids, right? These was kids that was still in school. So they was horse playing all around. So I had to start regulating, checking, coming in early. Sometimes I would come in early. We started coming in early. Like come in like an hour early. I ain't care. See, that's how raw I was when I was working. Some people ain't gonna go that far. I did. I go in early sometimes, or at least I get out there on that floor. I definitely came in early a couple times, definitely. But I would get out there on that floor for sure before I was supposed to clock in. I'm gonna go check and make my runs. You know what I'm saying? Make sure these people have done their job. And a lot of times I had to get the managers from the second shift to go get that trash. I had managers having to clean up trash because their logic was, oh, well, you should have something to do when you come in. Okay, yeah, but don't insult my intelligence though. I should have some work to do when I come in on the clock, but not like this, not overrunning like this, like you ain't done nothing all shift. But she was easy. She was sweet on the dudes, young dudes, and she just let them do what they want to do because he was a manager, a female manager. So she was sweet on the young dudes and let them do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? They coming in doing whatever they want to do. And that's basically what it was. She couldn't tell them to do the right thing. She ain't have it in her to tell them to do the right thing. That same manager wound up sleeping with somebody on the job, having sex on the job in the hospital. Wow, right? You know what I'm saying? So you kind of see what it was. You know, she had this sweet relationship, I guess you can say, with these young dudes. You know what I mean? And I almost got in a fight with one of them. You know what I'm saying? But then after that, we understood each other. You know what I'm saying? Like once you bump heads on that level, man, I just come in there and listen, man. Listen, don't play me and I ain't gonna play you. You know what I'm saying? Come on. I'm black just like you are, man. Don't listen. I know how dudes is. Dudes come in, they horse playing with these females. You lollygagging, playing around. Like, you know, you just came from school. It's just like you continuing the fun, you know. Come on. But you on the job, you know what I'm saying? Come on, don't play with me. You know what I'm saying? So I had to check him. You know what I'm saying? I had to check him. You know what I'm saying? And that's just me. That's my personality. That's my personality. But I had fun. I had fun at that job. I made money, and I didn't require my females to pay for nothing, you know, at that time. That's why, like, I don't have a problem with people helping me right now, because I help people. I show people great times. When I had money, I ain't asked my woman to do nothing. I ain't asked her to pay for nothing. She ain't buy me nothing. She ain't buy me nothing. Remind you, I'm still taking care of my son. I got a son too. I'm taking care of my son, and I'm taking care of my woman. I ain't talking about my ex-wife. I'm taking care of my son, and I'm taking care of my woman, and I ain't asking nobody for nothing. So see, that's how I live when I got money. So that's why I wasn't worried about it. Like, now when I ask people, you know what I'm saying, for something or whatever, because I know I'm not entitled to it, but I know who I am. I know my track record. See, when you got a pretty decent track record, bro, you know, I don't mind asking people. See, people don't know that about me. That was my best job, working at the hospital. That white boy wrote me up, and he knew my grandmother passed. I could see if this is my homie or something. And you told me, once you realized it was my grandmother, this manager told me, oh, you can take as much time as you want. So you must have been a little goofy white boy that just saying that, but you ain't mean it. Because I took probably like 5 days. This is your grandmother, right? I might have took 5 days or something like that. And maybe 6. But even if it was a week, that's your grandmother. And so off the strength of that, if he wrote me up, he should have been like, if he felt some type of way, he should have said, yo, that was your grandmother? I'll give you a pass on that, man. But yeah, I'll give you a pass because I told you to take as much time as you want. See, that's how a real nigga gonna tell you. Yeah, I told you to take as much time as you want. And if I really needed you to work, because all it was he missed my work ethic. That's how he missed me. If everything fell in line, he wouldn't have cared. But they were struggling. Just for me to not work, they struggled. That's how my job was. For me to not work, day by day, they struggled. He missed me. But what he should have did was he should have called. He should have called me. He should have called. See, he wasn't professional as he thought he was. Once he seen X amount of days went by, he should have said, okay, let me call. Let me see. Oh yeah, I just wanted to check and see when you was gonna come in. I ain't gonna sit out on purpose. Mind you, this is my job. This is my bread and butter. I ain't gonna jeopardize that just trying to be out. He ain't called me or nothing. He couldn't. I had my name, my number on file, everything. So it's no excuse. It's no excuse. He ain't attempt to call me or nothing. Now, before I would have wrote you up, I would have attempted to call you. See, that's the proper protocol. That's the proper protocol. Before I write you up, I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna see what's up. But if you don't come in after I called you now, yeah, of course I'm gonna write you up. That's how you do it. That's cool. Because you can't say nothing. Okay, I called you though, bro. I called you, and I wanted you to come in, and I talked to you on the phone. You can't be mad. You can't be mad now. I did call you now. Like, yeah, well, okay, yeah, you did call me though and told me to come in or whatever. Okay, in that case, but if you ain't called me and then you told me to take as much time as I want, take as much time as you need, you was just being cliche. You proved that you wasn't being sincere. You see all the flaws in that situation. You wasn't even sincere when you told me to take as much time as I needed. So then once he wrote me up, I still had my job. I didn't have to get suspended. I didn't have to leave. But it was just an insult. It was a severe insult, bro. If once I knew this person told me to take as much time as I want, to me that's like saying take more than 3 days. 3 days is standard bereavement. Okay, so then you telling me to take more. You saying it's okay if I take more than 3 days. That's how most people gonna comprehend it. You ain't gonna tell me take as much time as you want, and you holding me to a standard bereavement. You wouldn't even say nothing. You wouldn't say anything. You wouldn't add to it. When you tell me take as much time as you need, that goes beyond standard bereavement. And I got wrote up for it, so I was like, nah, I'm cool. I tried to stay. I stayed, in reality, I stayed by like 2 weeks or something like that. Maybe a month. I think maybe, yeah, I might have stayed a month. After that, I couldn't take it. I just couldn't take it. I talked to people on the job because they knew I was a good worker and everything. They was like, man, nah, you should let him fire you. You know, they should, because then you're gonna get your money. They're gonna give you workers' comp. Workers' comp if they fire you. And but he was just a jerk, man, and I realized he was just gunning for me, you know. That's really what it was. You know, he was just gunning for me. And that's all it was, bro. So that's how I lost that job. I quit. I couldn't take it, man. And at the time when I quit, I was staying with a female that liked now this female liked to party. I had one female that liked to party. Paula, the other one I was telling you about, she liked to party too. So I was just, at that time, I was partying so hard. I would work, come home, chill with my girl, me and her smoke weed, me and her drink, have sex, and I go back to work without going to sleep. I ain't going to sleep at all. I'm working third shift. I work a whole shift, come home, and she already partying. She already smoking weed early in the morning. She start with the music, everything. I don't even go to sleep. I'm just smoking weed and drinking. Before you know it, I gotta go to work. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I was living. I was working there, and when I went to work, I was doing good. I do my little job, come back home, go to sleep when I get back the next day. But yeah, I come home, party all day, no sleep, not a nap, nothing like that. But that's because the vibe between me and her was so good. She was from the South Bronx. Y'all already know about the South Bronx, right? So she was from the South Bronx, old school. She used to sell cocaine in the clubs, right? She used to travel with the Yankees. So she was a cool chick. So it was that too. And it was just like she had this huge stereo speakers. That's what just had me as a musician. I come in, the bass, we got CDs, old school, a real stereo. You know what I'm saying? A system. That's what we call it in the South. A system. You know what I'm saying? Like, she had a system, everything. Shit, man. We smoked weed, drank after work. I think I would bring her breakfast because I could get it off my card. So I bring her, they had these big old pancakes in my job. They cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner in my job. So I go in the cafeteria and get her some breakfast, pancakes, bacon, eggs, all that stuff. They take it right off my check at the top. You scan your card because your badge works as as a card, a credit card or as a debit card. So you scan your card, it takes it right off your check, your next check. So sometimes that was my groceries. So I come there and get groceries. You know how black folks is, shit, if they taking it right off the top, I'm gonna take some of this stuff home. I come in there and get all kind of stuff. And I know they gonna take it right off the top. I ain't gotta pay no cash right there. Man, that was a good time. So when I quit that job, I was with my female that was partying all the time, so I didn't really care. We just partied, you know, and we just partied through that, you know, and that's just what it was, you know. But that was probably one of the best, most stable times of my life. But like I said, women love stability. Women love stability, and if you have stability, you gonna see a side of a woman that other people don't see. If you broke, you gonna argue with your woman all the time. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, you could be the nicest dude in the world. You could be cool, but the fear is coming out in arguments. You know what I'm saying? The instability is coming out in arguments. You know, that's the sign that the woman is fearful. You know what I'm saying? For different reasons. But when you got money and you're stable, the more stable you are, a female is gonna be cool, kosher. You know what I'm saying? Like Gucci. She ain't gonna have no problems. But long as she's unstable, you know, you gonna have arguments, frustrations, and things like that, and you ain't gonna experience the love making that these guys that got money experience. You see all these guys that get their women to do all kind of stuff. It's cause their woman is open. She knows the future is good. Think about it. You can lay back and just know, oh, we good. We can do whatever we want to do. You know what I'm saying? We got money. We're going to have money next year and every year. That's just done. Money is done. We got money. And if anybody try us, we got guns. You know what I'm saying? That too, it's just a security, man, that many black men don't get to experience. You know, that's why they have problems with your women. You can keep your woman because if you love right, you can always go back to most of your women. Like me, I can go back to most of my women if I really wanted them back. It wouldn't take a lot of effort. I'm not being arrogant because I got a good track record. But like people say, they your ex for a reason. They your ex for a reason, and I done went back a lot of times and it never worked. Because the truth is, you can have love for each other when time goes by, but y'all not compatible. Compatibility is a whole different animal from love. You can have love, but no compatibility. If you don't have no compatibility with your wife, and y'all don't connect, y'all not compatible. You're just loving that person. But you don't really like that person. Love and liking somebody is two different things. You can love people in your family, but you don't like them, do you? It's a lot of people in your family you just don't like. And you love them. You'll give them your last dollar. But do you really enjoy their company? No. You love them, though. That's your family. But you don't really like them, do you? Now, why would you get in a relationship with somebody doing the same thing? You love this person, but you don't like them. Like a wayward family member, you love them, but you don't like them. Now, why you gonna go get in a relationship like that? You know what I'm saying? And so that's like, I just learned, if I don't like the person, it's not gonna work. If she don't like me, it's not gonna work. And then when they start playing around things that's key to who you are, like me, I like to talk, right? So if a female don't like somebody that like to talk, how I'm gonna be with her? I'm not gonna be able to be my real self. That's who you are. That's not a flaw. That's who you are. If you're with a person that don't like to talk, nah, that's not gonna work. You need to be with a woman that like to talk or like to listen to somebody talk. Like come in the house talking, that type of person. Yeah. I mean, like them type of people. If you ain't got a woman that like to come in the house talking from wherever y'all went and all that, you know, that tells you right there. See, it took me a long time to learn this. The difference between love and compatibility. If you're not compatible with somebody, you just love that person. You will go, love will make it last a long time. You'll go down some dark roads for that person. You'll go through some dark days. You'll live with that person. You'll go through some stuff with that person. But compatibility is ultimately going to be the make or break of that situation. One day, something's going to break it. And I can't tell you when. And I can't tell you how. But I learned from experience, something is going to break that relationship. If y'all not compatible, you can love each other all day long. But if you're not compatible, and see, the truth is, man, half of us are not compatible with the people we with. No, we not. That takes luck for you to get in the world. Half of us love the person we with. And that's why it's sticking together. Love is keeping it together. Compatibility, you liking the person. That's what you're supposed to do from day one. Before you love somebody, what's first? You like the person. Before love, you like, right? You don't love somebody you just met. How? Which is a red flag. When somebody starts telling you they love you, well, how you love me? You just met me. You can jazz it up, say you love things about me. Okay. I might go for that. But how many times you done been with somebody and they told you they love you? Too early. They told you they love you too early. It's too early for you to have said that. That's a red flag. I hate to say it, but it is. It sounds good, but no, you can't love somebody that quick. Now you can say, I like this person. I like you a lot. You can find that out meeting a stranger. You can talk to a stranger for a couple hours and like a stranger. You know, as an adult, you can size people up, whether you like them or not, when you fill them out. But love, you can't say, well, I love you. Complete stranger, right? But you start out with love. You start out with liking somebody first. Then you go, which to like somebody, you got to be compatible to a certain degree. It's got to be something that works with you and them for you to like them. A lot of times, we don't meet people and like people. We get drunk and high and have sex with people. See, that's what happened. Then we hang out and then we fall in love. Because with time you can fall in love. You start taking care of somebody start taking care of you, and when you're gonna fall in love is when y'all go through stuff together. When you go through stuff together, now you're gonna have love for this person that was there for you. You're gonna have love for that person. If they helped you through life, and eventually you're gonna go through struggles, and when struggles come up in your life with that relationship, you're gonna love that person because they was there for you. That's just normal. That's a normal human being, with how a human being will respond. But that don't mean you're compatible, that you like that person. So people get deceived with love. There's more than one dynamic to make a relationship work. You can love anybody with time. If think about it, let's just say you was in the military. You're going to love everybody in the military that was there when you went through boot camp, right? Because y'all went through stuff together. When you start going through stuff with people, through life and through problems and tribulations, you can love anybody through stuff, through life. But most of us, especially when we're young, y'all didn't even get a chance to like each other. Y'all was drinking, and you start having sex. That's most people. You never even thought about liking this person. You thought about being cool, like homies, camaraderie. Well, you can say that's liking, but really, man, it's a type of drinking camaraderie. Like, we're just drinking together, right? And it's that, like, it's not, do I like you? It's kind of that we like each other because we both get drunk. We both drink on the same level. So you like that. That's usually what it is. The last person I was with in a real serious relationship, guess how we met? We met from a dating site, right? So, I told her to come through for my birthday. You know what I'm saying? I had a liter of liquor, You already know what it is. I had a liter of liquor from the day before. I was already tipsy from the day before my birthday in 2022. So I told her to come through. I'm already in the haze of already being tipsy all from the yesterday to that day. So she just came through and started drinking with me, and that's really what it was. I ain't even really. When I seen her, I was already tipsy from day one. The first time I met her, I was tipsy, literally. And then I started pouring drinks as soon as she came in. I mean, I'm thinking this is a grown woman, like on my level, but she was a little bit, she ain't have that many experiences like me. So I'm pouring drinks, we drinking. It's my birthday. We started watching Sparkle, the old school Sparkle with Sister and all that. So we watching Sparkle, Sticks. You remember Sticks on Sparkle? So I don't think she ever seen it. So, I'm like everybody else. I got Cody. I done programmed Cody myself. So I got Cody on my Fire Stick and everything like that. So I got my little setup or whatever, everything like that. So we drinking or whatever. And so we just was watching Sparkle, the old school, not the second one, the first Sparkle, the old school Sparkle. And it went from there. You know what I'm saying? And we followed up the next day. And all it was a haze of hippie living like hippies, drinking, watching Sparkle. What that was from the 70s. So you put it together. Started out like hippies, drinking together, watching Sparkle. And that basically, we never had a chance to see if we was compatible. We loved each other, but compatibility, we never even got a chance to get to it, because by the time you get out of the haze of all the drinking, you're going to stay drinking because you just met the person. So you're going to make it a moment every time you get with them. If you're a man like me, I'm going to get a bottle every time you come through. Okay? So every time you come through, we're going to get whatever you want to drink. You know what I'm saying? We tried everything. Jack Daniel, Hennessy, vodka, brandy. We drunk it all. Gin. I think we even had gin in there, I think. We were drinking everything, man. Only thing we didn't drink was that I drunk before her was Jimmy Walker. Jimmy Walker is another level. Jimmy Walker, you know what I'm saying? But our main spirit was vodka, because that's what I like. I like white liquor. You know what I'm saying? We tried wine. She was kind of good on wine. A couple beers, okay. Kind of. I don't know which one she did the best on. Maybe wine. But either way it go, man, we stayed in the haze of drinking. You know what I'm saying? Basically. Because that's what most couples gonna do. We gonna eat good. We gonna drink good. We gonna have sex. And that's it. We ain't gonna make it too simple. Too hard. And really, when you first meet somebody like that and you drinking all the time, you don't realize you're in an intoxicated state. Even though, like most men, I can still function through that state. I'm not worried about being really compatible. You know what I'm saying? We're liking the same things, which is movies, certain food, conversation, certain topics of conversation. But do you really like who I am? That's not something that most people my age is even gonna study too hard, because that's making things complicated. Right? That's making things more complicated. I ain't even gonna have them kind of conversations. Not in the beginning. I'm treating you like a homie. That's why most women love me, because I'm gonna treat you like a homie. Come through, we're gonna watch movies, we're gonna drink, we're gonna eat food, and we're gonna do it again. See you when you come back. Do it again and again and again, like homies. See, that's why females love homies, because you're gonna find that real camaraderie among a person that is out there in the streets. If they out there in the streets, a homie gonna be out in the streets, but not necessarily. Not necessarily. A homie can be a person that got strong camaraderie. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't active in the streets no more, but they still got the camaraderie energy between them and their friends, like a homie. You know what I'm saying? So everybody know what I'm talking about, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's what women gonna gravitate towards. Every time I come over here, it's a good time. We drink, we party, we listen to music, and we watch movies, and we eat good. I cook good, everything. You know what I'm saying? So, but one thing you missing is the red flags when you really are yourself and they're not accepting that, whether it's you or them. You can't make a person change. You can't make a person change to you can't make a person change to something you want them to be. I'm gonna tell you why you can't do that, because they gotta want to be that person themselves. That's the only way it's gonna last. Even for example, and this is most men's pet peeves, is how a woman should dress in public. If a woman is dressed like a hoe, and you a man that you don't like your woman titties out and her coochie out, you don't like her camel toe sticking out so everybody can see it, then and that's how she carry herself. She wear leggings and her camel toe just sticking out. Listen, bro, you can't. Even if you try to change that woman, she ain't gonna be happy. She ain't gonna be happy. As soon as you put a burden on her that she don't want to do for herself, because most men, we big on dress code, right? Before we was in a relationship, I ain't care. I let you look like a hoe because I ain't care. I ain't care. Okay, but now we in a relationship, I don't want it sticking out. I don't want nobody else to see it. That's the healthy jealousy that a man should have. That's natural. That's not toxic. That's natural. You shouldn't want nobody to see your woman vagina from 2 blocks because she got leggings on. Camel toe just sticking out. Know what I mean? She ain't got no drawers on. She ain't got no bra on. Nipples just getting hard. Everybody can see her nipples. Who wants that? Who wants something that everybody can see? No man wants that. And if she can't, because I can understand if she's single now, you put yourself out there. So in American culture, I'm just keep it real, you kind of wear single clothes when you're single, but you don't wear them same clothes when you get in a relationship, because you putting yourself out there. You letting people see what it is. And that might not be like a slut. You might not be doing it like a slut, but you know what I mean? You kind of putting yourself out there a little more. Like showing people a little more, you know what I'm saying? Because you got to put yourself out there. I mean, you know, in this culture. But once you get in a relationship, now you're critiquing it, right? Like, I can't wear that. I can't wear that. Nah, that's how I get my dates. I used to wear that to get my dates. That part. So now you gonna still wear the same stuff you used to wear to get your dates. But that's not insecurity, man. That it's gonna attract the same energy that you used to get your dates. And see, this is the problem that many married men see. You can tell I've been a married man. Nah, I don't marry somebody and then they get to show everybody everything, man. Come on now. Come on. But how you can tell I'm not a possessive person? Because before a relationship, I don't really care. I don't really care. Like me and you could be having sex or whatever, and I'm gonna be more open about everything. But once we get in a relationship, I change because I change. That's the right reason. Which means I ain't looking at these women. I ain't trying to holler at these random women like I could be, like I used to. I'm not inviting these people up to my apartment no more. Because I live alone. I live by myself. I could have brought people all into my apartment. I could have lived a double life where I was doing whatever, but I held her down. I held her down the whole time, I can tell you that. Until me and her went our separate ways and everything. Then I went and did whatever I wanted to do. But while me and her was together, during the duration of me and her being together, it's just me and her. That's it. I ain't gonna see nobody. And here's the thing, I had opportunity. It's one thing for people to say stuff, well, I wasn't with nobody. You ain't had no opportunity. Your own girl probably tell you that. You ain't had no opportunity to be with nobody else. I did. You didn't. Talking about you wasn't with nobody else. You ain't had no opportunity. You was reclusive. You was in the house. You wasn't doing nothing. You wasn't dressing up. You wasn't going out. How was you gonna ever meet a decent woman? Your own woman will tell you that. She'll tell you that herself. Well, of course you ain't meet nobody. Listen, you ain't had no opportunity. Of course you wasn't with nobody. You ain't had no opportunity. So look, me, man, I had a homie before I met the female I was in a relationship with. Me and him went up on Roosevelt. Everybody already know, in Queens, right? With the Chinese chicks, everything like that, right? Me and him going dancing in the Mexican bars. He dancing with girls and everything. I'm taking a shot of Hennessy on the house. This Mexican dude just bought me a shot of Hennessy. So we just sitting, we in the club, everything, right? This is that type of homie. He the type of homie, just hang your money, everything like that. He ain't worried about it, everything like that. That type of dude. So I met him one night just chilling on the block. I'm already halfway tipsy, I think. And I met him on the block. Me and him went up on Roosevelt. He asked me where the female's at. I told him on Roosevelt. He wanted me to walk up there with him. So he wound up going and getting one of the Chinese females. You know what I'm saying? And so from that day, me and him always was cool. You know, he went back to my apartment, slept in the floor. You know what I'm saying? This is a complete stranger. This is how cool I was. So then, when I got in a relationship, I ain't see him around. He ain't see me around. I wasn't even conscious of it, really. You know, conscious of him, because we wasn't like texting him, talking to each other, going out. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't doing that anyway. He wasn't coming over, whatever. Not like a homie, right? So I wasn't conscious of him. Then out the blue, one day he came through after I was in a relationship and brought a female over there, like 4 o'clock in the morning too. Like, I'm like that. I'm like, my lights is all off, everything. I'm like that. So I come to the door. I don't even turn the lights on. It's dark in my apartment. I'm just opening up the door. I'm looking out. This dude got a female. He done brought a female up, because that was the basis of how me and him hung out. So he brought a female up to the apartment. He was like, yeah, man, what you getting into? Like, what you getting into? Like, he just came out the blue, man. And I was already in a relationship and everything. My girl was about to come through the next day. That's why I know it was a test. It was a test, man. And I could have easily got away. That could have been a wild night with me and that dude, with that one female. And that's what he wanted to do. Like, so he brought her through. I was like, nah, man. I said, I don't even smoke no more, man, and everything like that. I don't even drink everything. I'm not doing any. I think I wasn't smoking at the time, but I was telling him, like, basically, I don't live that way. He ain't never come back, because I tell people in the right way. You know, you could tell, like, if you know a dude done changed. You know what I'm saying? I was like, nah, man. You know, I'm in a relationship. I think I told him that. And I ain't smoking, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. I think at that time I wasn't smoking no cigarettes, no weed. I had quit, right? So then he was like, all right, bro, like that. So, but my girl was coming the next day. Now, if I was a dirty dude, I could have smashed, me and that dude could have smashed her, because I know he ain't going to let me, he's the type of dude, he was going to give me money to trick off on another female. That kind of stuff. So that was the basis of our relationship. That's the only thing our relationship was based on, was female. I identify him with think about females, right? So I know he wasn't gonna bring her up there, and I wasn't gonna get to do nothing. And he bringing her into my apartment. Think about it. I mean, that's just how a homie gonna think, you know. You gonna screw her in here, and I ain't gonna do nothing. I'm gonna just sit here and smoke cigarettes and watch y'all have sex. Nah, like, so I already knew what time it was, and it was the time of night he came, like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Might have been 5. Like, it was real late. It was real late, man. It could have been no less than 3 o'clock in the morning. But I don't trip about stuff like that. That's one thing about me. I ain't never tripped about somebody coming to my door late at night. Because I don't know. I just think about myself. I'm spontaneous. I might do something like that. If somebody come to my door late at night, I ain't tripping. I ain't going to trip about that. But if I don't live the way I used to live, then, that's just what it is. And I changed through, I kept friends. I always kept homies coming to my door, knock on my door. Yo, what's up, man? They try to bring somebody else through. I'm just like, because I'm a homie. You know what I'm saying? I got good camaraderie. You know what I'm saying? And I'm easy to get along with. That's things that people should pay attention to. I keep comrades. You know what I'm saying? I keep comrades. I don't have no problem making new comrades. I talk to people in Russia. You know what I'm saying? I got people online I talk to and look, in Russia and everything. I've been talking to Russians for like 7 years. So I connected with Russia through all this stuff that America went through. That's why I ain't worried about America, because I started focusing on Russia. But I was always still cool with good people. You know what I'm saying? I'm still good with good people, but I salute Russia, I salute China, I salute North Korea, Lebanon, and Iran. That's just what it is. But I could have had sex with that female that night with the homie, but I was in a relationship. I held her down. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if it was ever reciprocated. I don't know that. I would never know. But I know for sure I had opportunity where a person came to my door with a female. and the thing was, she was the opposite of my female. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. The contrast, that's what gets you sometimes. That contrast. You know what I'm saying? That contrast, dudes know what I'm talking about. Your woman got a little weight on her, she kind of slim, or your woman kind of slim and she got kind of some weight on her. The contrast is what'll get you. You know what I'm saying? So she contrasts my woman instantly, just looking her up and down. I just glanced at her, just nodded my head at her like that, but she contrasts my woman. I could have easily made that mistake, but I held her down though. You know what I'm saying? I can say that. It's one thing, you ain't got no opportunity, you ain't got no homies that's bringing females to your house. I mean, I was that type of, obviously from that situation, you can see I was that type of dude. And then I had a female that I used to mess around with before that relationship. I bumped into her. She hugging me. Hey, what's up? I'm like, what's up? I was like, yeah, I'm in a relationship. I got me a female. Oh, what neighborhood she in? Because she knew that was a gang stalking neighborhood. That's why she asked me. Oh, what neighborhood? She in this neighborhood? That's what she was like. So, but she kind of trailed off, once I let her know. But I'm not gonna live a double life. You know what I'm saying? I hold people down. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never. I can honestly say I ain't never cheat on nobody. Nope. I ain't never cheat on nobody. But see, that's why females, them white girls be going after them real niggas. Because if you get one like me, and that's gonna hold you down, listen, all you gotta do is do things his way. But to a reasonable degree. You know what I'm saying? But he gonna hold you down. If you like what you see, you like what you like, you gonna have that, and only you. But these other weak niggas, they could have it all, and that's the reason why. You know what I mean? They got it all. They make mistakes. Wind up stepping out on you one time, you ain't know. You ain't gonna never know. Sometimes you ain't gonna never know. With some dudes, you ain't gonna never know, unless he want to hurt you and bring it up. That kind of dude, and that might happen. But that's why being real goes to relationships. It goes to everything, man. If you real, that's just me, because I was a married man at 22 years old. If you real, you gonna hold down your woman. That's part of being real. And if I've been at the point where I had more than one woman at one time, but they both knew about each other. That's what made it real. I wasn't cheating on, I wasn't lying. Now, have I had other little situations? Of course, but I was already living a life where she was talking to my woman on the phone. She was talking to my other woman on the phone, so it wasn't on the strength of being with other people. That wasn't, as far as being with other people, I ain't had that problem. I could be with other women. That's above a player. A player gotta deceive women. I ain't never have to deceive a woman. If I'm living a lifestyle where I want to be with other women, then that's what I was doing. All you gotta do is, and I'm not telling you to do it, but you have to make that woman feel like she's not losing anything. If you get in another relationship or you start having sex with another woman, the woman's main number one problem is you changed from the person that I met. Now you dismissive, you argue because you can be with another woman. Now you ain't trying to have sex, you ain't doing all the stuff that's necessary to have sex with this woman. You ain't setting up the night like most dudes do with the drinks, with the movies, with the food, setting up the night. You ain't doing none of that no more, and that's how she know you cheating. Stupid man, that's how she know, because you ain't doing nothing to have sex with this woman. So then that's not normal for a man. You know what I'm saying? Some men are that stupid. They'll sleep on the couch and you ain't trying to do nothing to be with her every night. How a woman know much as a man like to have sex. How you now all of a sudden you sleeping on the couch? Unless she really offended you. If she really, really offended you, I will understand. But if it ain't no signs of offense, she gonna find that strange. She gonna know you cheating. That's the first sign, because you gonna be sleeping on the couch. You know what I'm saying? She don't know what you're doing on the phone. You know what I'm saying? You all out. You know how we are, man. Now you out in the living room, drinking in the living room. I mean, you cheating. You stepping out. She don't matter no more. But that's not normal, because women realize how much we like sex. Okay, so if you ain't trying to have sex, nah, you ain't trying to set up the night, you ain't trying to drink, that ain't normal. That ain't normal. That's how she gonna look at it. So if you do everything the same, then a woman ain't gonna mind. She ain't gonna care. I'm saying if we ain't married, I'm not condoning this lifestyle. I'm just showing you what it is. If you're not married, but you giving her everything that she been getting, the love, everything, the respect level, none of that can't go. You respect her the same. You respect her conversation. You respect everything about her. You treat her absolutely the same. Then she gonna be okay with you being with somebody else. If y'all wasn't in a relationship, if y'all was just hanging and just chilling together, and you decide to have another female, long as you don't treat her differently, you could. That's what most men mess up. You could have more than one female, but when you start treating her differently, think about it. It's self-explanatory. Why would she want this now? Why would she want now what you giving her? She barely get to have sex with you. That's how women gonna think. You ain't talking to her. You ain't into her. You don't give her that same vibe that you once gave her. Why? What's the point? That's how a woman gonna look at it. But if I'm getting everything that I've been getting, hey, long as I'm getting me, that's how she gonna look at it. Now that's a certain lifestyle I used to live. I used to live like that, where my women was talking to each other on the phone, asking one of them asking them, what you like about him. They talking about all of that. So I had it like that. So that's above a player. A player got to deceive women and everything. My women was talking on the phone to each other. That's what I'm saying, man. So yeah, they was talking on the phone to each other about what they like. One of them didn't like the conversation really, because I think she kind of had more feelings, you know what I'm saying? But she did tolerate it, you know what I'm saying? She did kind of talk to her or whatever, and everything. So they knew about each other and everything. So that, to me, you don't get bad karma from that. You don't get bad karma when you put your top cards. I mean, as far as how you treat people, because you're open about what you're doing. You're open about it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't deceiving nobody. It's a different energy. It's just too much work, and it's too painful to deceive people, running them back and running around. I ain't never had to play that game. I ain't never had to play that game in my life. I'm glad too. You know what I'm saying? My females, when I had 2 of them at one time, where I can go to each one of them house whenever I wanted to, when I had it like that, they both knew what I was doing. They didn't have no problem. I didn't mistreat one over the other. And they were both satisfied. If we fell out with each other and I went to the other one's house, because I used to do that, but it was understood it wasn't about the other female. It was about something that transpired between me and you. But ultimately, we would still come back together. So I don't, so I can relate to dudes that got females and it ain't no problem. It's not cheating because we're not in a relationship, first of all, and I'm not cheating you out of something. I'm still giving you the same thing. You're not being cheated out of something, and I didn't change, So that's how I used to live, you know what I'm saying? I used to live like that, man. You know what I'm saying? But when I'm in a relationship, it's a whole different ball game. I shut it down. I don't entertain nobody else. I don't talk to nobody else online, on old relationships. I don't entertain anybody I interacted with other times. That's just me, because I want the same thing. I mean, that's what makes it special. If you get in a relationship, what makes it special is it's just you and that person one-on-one. That's beautiful. If you can get it going and you know what you're doing, you can get a lot of beauty out of that. You can get a lot of beautiful times out of that situation. That's what make it better than a whole bunch of women. That's always going to be better, because what makes it better is you ain't having sex with nobody but this one person. You focusing your whole energy on this one person. That's what makes it better. It's better. It's better to me. And you learning her body, you learning her how she is, you learning who she is. It's better. It's way better. It's always gonna be better. That's why most men, they always gonna go with one woman, because it's just gonna be better. When you really got somebody that's focused on you, and you're gonna figure out the difference, you're gonna treasure that more. But when you're young, you feel like you're missing something. You feel like you want to be with you want to try all these different types of women. You want to do all this, you want to party, you know what I'm saying? You want to be free. But the older you get, you start realizing what the best thing is somebody that nobody else ain't with. Ain't nobody else with this woman over here. That's all me. And ain't nobody else having sex with her. That's what you want. You only thinking about her. You ain't giving your energy to your mind to nobody else. You ain't focused on nobody else. That's what make it beautiful. You giving that person your full focus. So that's what it is. But like I said, man, it got to be compatibility though. It got to be compatibility with how you live. Nobody can't change you, and then we all change. That's the ironic thing. You still gonna change. Oh, you're gonna change, because that's what life is gonna do to everybody. You're gonna change. Things gonna happen. You might even lose people in your family, and like my brother got killed. Like at the end of that relationship I had with her. With my last female I was really in a relationship with the longest, he passed away. He got killed. Home invasion. He got murdered. You know what I'm saying? So, and then when the female I was with picked at that situation and said, that's why your brother got murdered, this is what she said to me. This is how crazy she was. She talking about, that's why your brother got murdered. Like, okay. Most people would say you shouldn't have ever talked to her again. She said she mocked the fact that your brother got killed. Talking about that's why your brother got murdered, got killed or shot. Something like that. And most people would have said, yo, I ain't never talking to that female again, man. She sit up and mocked my brother being killed. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad she didn't do that in person. You know, so that's what some dudes will say. I'm just being honest with you. Good thing she didn't do that in person, man. You know, but that's how much I went through. That kind of tell you how much I was going through, man. For her to say something like that, that's why your brother got killed and some stuff like that. Because we was arguing about something else. But then she used that like a little girl. See, she had the mind. She wasn't mature. You know what I'm saying? When somebody say that's why your brother got killed, like it's a game. Bro. I think maybe that's why I am not pursuing her. She texts me she emailed me from time to time. But I don't bite on it, you know what I'm saying? I don't give her that what she looking for as a female, like for me to be like, yeah, I'll come back and I want you back and come see me and all of this. I ain't never said it. I mean, maybe that's why. I'll be honest with you, I ain't never even think about it. I just kept the conversation on however she was talking, whatever she was saying. I responded pretty much in the same area. You know what I'm saying? Whatever she asked me. But that's okay. I don't know. I'm a decent enough of a person to just, because I feel like a person like that she ain't never lived on her own. She lived with her mom her whole life. I left home when I was 18. That's why I'm independent. I'm a papa. I talk like this and people don't understand because I became a man at 18. I left my mom's house. And anytime I went back after that, I was never there to stay. I was always trying to get back up on my feet. So it was never like just settling in indefinitely. Nah. I ain't never settled in indefinitely. You know, and my mom didn't allow it. So you come there, you got to get a job, you got to focus on getting your own place and all that kind of stuff. So I left home when I was 18, and I've been on my own pretty much since. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm so mature like I am, and people think it's an act. But if you live on your own as long as I did, 18, then I went to LA when I was 20 years old. That's the first time. See, people don't know about the first time I went to Los Angeles. I went to Los Angeles when I was 20 years old. I wasn't even legally able to drink. I couldn't even drink legally. So some people say you was a kid in California. That's what some people would say. You was basically a kid in California. So that's what people don't understand about me. I went to LA when I was 20 years old back in 2001. So that's 24 years ago. 24 years ago, I went to LA, Los Angeles. You see what I'm saying? So, I went to East LA for the first time, to over by Echo Park, I think, with the Dream Center. I think the Dream Center is in East LA, right? So I was over there in the Dream Center in East LA, that big old Dream Center. It used to be a hospital back in the 60s, I heard. So I went there when straight from North Carolina to East LA, and I was only 20 years old, and so I went to Seattle after that. So I was on the West Coast. That's total West Coast. LA to Seattle, yo. That's up and down. Down or up. Down and up. But yeah. That was only at 20 years old. So that's why I'm like this. That's why people can't figure it out. I've been on my own for a long time. And the reason why I did it was for my music. I'm a musician. My music been heard by a famous person, Mobb Deep. You know what I'm saying? The rapper Mobb Deep, the rap group Mobb Deep, Havoc from Mobb Deep. He heard my music, everything, and Nas, his godfather heard my music. So Nas, the rapper, his godfather heard my music. So when I was living in Harlem, so yeah, so so obviously people seen I had talent. So can you imagine how I felt about my own talent? You're gonna be the worst, and you're gonna make the worst decisions. Because if everybody else can see you got talent, you obviously know you got talent, and you're gonna make bad decisions. See, they gonna help you try to make the right decision, but you gonna make the bad decisions because you know you got talent. That ain't it ain't to be disputed. So then you gonna do all this different kind of stuff to try to make it. You gonna make bad decisions, all kind of stuff to try to be something that you know you can be. You know you got talent. Once you know you got talent, you're gonna make a whole bunch of bad decisions. That's what it is. You're gonna do all kind of stuff. You ain't gonna have no stability. You ain't gonna worry about stability. I didn't worry about none of that. I knew I had talent. I wasn't worried about that. I wasn't worried about getting stable. Stuff we worry about now as grown men. When I was in my 20s and stuff like that, I wasn't worried about. I'm worried about making it big, hitting it big, meeting somebody, and they seeing my talent. So when I tell you that famous people heard my music, you can't say I had a pipe dream. You can't say it was unreasonable what I felt. You know what I'm saying? That I was just playing. I should have just focused on something else. Nah, you can't say that with me. I definitely had talent. Everybody say that. So even my ex-wife said that. It's obvious. So I can rap, I sing, and I make beats. I can do all of it. And I'm good at all of it. I'm good at making beats, everything. It's ideas, beat ideas that I still haven't heard quite yet. Things I do, I'm good at melodies. Melodies, to me, making beats, if you don't got good melodies, you don't got nothing. You can have good beat patterns, you know what I'm saying, some little catchy little beat patterns, but the melody is what's gonna make the music. That's gonna make the whole beat, whether it's a rap beat or R&B, whatever it is. If it ain't a original melody, I don't really find, because there's certain melodies you can do where you kind of heard this somewhere else, kind of. You know what I mean? You've kind of heard this somewhere else, not totally, but somewhat. It's certain parts of the melody or the patterns that you kind of heard somewhere else, right? But so I prided myself on original melody stuff. I know in other words, I wouldn't even make a beat if it wasn't original. Or if, let's say I sample something, it's still gotta be, the approach is gonna be original. It can't be, okay, somebody sampled that and they did it exactly like I did it. I might change the snares, I might change the bass kick, the hi-hats or something like that or whatever. And so I was really into producing. That's really was what I fell in love with more. I still like rapping and singing, but beats it's a whole different animal of love. For one thing, it's more super intentional. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can even when you make a verse as a recording artist, everybody know this. You can't duplicate. It's no way you can duplicate the same verse as far as recording it and saying it the same way. It's impossible. You can hit the same notes, but as far as like, let's just say going into the studio as a studio engineer. A studio engineer is going to tell you can't duplicate the same wavelength. You can't duplicate the same wavelength. So if you sing and if you rap, it's no way you can duplicate it exactly the same. That's impossible. You can hit the same notes, but you can't make it totally identical. Like when I look at this wavelength, it's literally identical. So your recording that you make winds up being a favorite of everybody, but the thing that the artist knows is I can never duplicate that totally again. So what I wind up doing in concerts, live concerts, or wherever I go to perform, I wind up giving you something else. Instead of trying to duplicate the same verse that you love, I'm going to give you a live performance, which is the way you should go. Because all you're going to do is try to fight the perfection of that classic hit, and it ain't gonna work. You ain't gonna ever be able to do it exactly. But then here's the good part. You gonna become a better singer with time, where you hit those notes way better. But then guess what? You ain't gonna want to go and do a live show and hit the same notes every night. So then you're gonna switch it up and you're gonna do other little stuff, and that's the beauty of the live show. Is I'm gonna give you different notes, I'm gonna do little stuff, I'm gonna do a little extra stuff. And that's what a good live performer should do. You should never shoot for trying to make the same vocal that you made in the studio that everybody loved. You can't do it. So you just wind up enjoying the live show, which is almost like another recording. And that's what the artists love. The fan love. If they smart, they understand I'm getting something that I'm not getting, people don't get from the album. So I went to see Prince. That's what I went to see in the concert. So if you want to know what concert I went to see Prince live. You know what I'm saying? Back to that job that I was working. You know what I'm saying? They cut me a check when I left. They gave me like $2,000 in a check. I took that and went to see Prince. He came to town during that time. It was perfect. I got the money, and then Prince came to town. I was like, wow, man. I heard it on the radio because at that time my girl used to listen to the radio all the time, and I heard Prince was coming to town. So I went and got me a ticket. Went by myself. And she was old school. She was like, you don't want nobody to go with you? No, I don't want nobody. Because you know how people are, man. Like, they just critique everything, and they just want to nitpick about every little thing and ruin the whole energy. So I can say I went to see Prince live in concert, and nobody disturbed my experience. You know what I'm saying? Nobody disturbed my experience. So that kind of shows you what type of person I am. If you know, I'm a Prince fan over Michael Jackson. I like Michael, but I like Prince because Prince was the full artist, the musician. He was the full musician. Michael Jackson got too much credit for his music. Sometimes he didn't even write the music. Sometimes he didn't make the beats. Sometimes he didn't, sometimes he didn't even do vocals. Like, for example, Man in the Mirror was written by a woman. Ironically, Michael Jackson didn't write Man in the Mirror. A woman wrote that. And then when you look at Thriller, one of the parts where the dude comes in and says the little part at the end and the laugh, that had nothing to do with Michael Jackson. And Quincy Jones was the ones making the music. Quincy Jones was making the music, right? So what did Michael do? All he did was the vocals and the performance. Michael was a good entertainer. He was the best entertainer. He was a better entertainer than a better dancer than Prince. I would give him that. But as far as a musician, he wasn't a better musician than Prince. Nope. Because Prince could write the music, perform the music, and he could write the music, sing the music, and perform it. Perform the verses. He performed the music, brought life to it. And he made other bands. He made other people famous, like his cousin Morris Day and The Time and Apollonia, you know, Vanity 6, Vanity, Apollonia 6. Look, I mean, come on. Prince was just like Rick James. Rick James helped Tina, he worked through Tina Marie. He worked with Tina Marie. Michael wasn't working with nobody like that. Michael wasn't the musician that kind of bounced with people and everything, and but I size it up how it is. Michael was a good entertainer. He was the greatest entertainer. I would say that. But I say that. When you look at the moonwalk and all the different styles he did, but the greatest musician was Prince. Between those two, that's how I explain it. Michael was the better entertainer overall. That's off the strength of him being with the Jackson 5. And if you go all the way back, see, Prince didn't never have no moment, and I know that's what he probably hated. He didn't have no little Michael Jackson moment when he was little and dancing all around. Prince didn't have that kind of time. Prince didn't have that. That's what Michael Jackson had over him. You can go, which every artist would have loved to be a child singing music. That's the best time. So that's what Michael had over everybody. He can go back and look at himself as a kid. That's what everybody wants. That every artist wants young time as an artist. And Michael had all of that. He was the full package. He had the young time when he was up in his teenage years and all of that. That's what every artist is trying to get. You're trying to get in there. Eventually you're going to start thinking about, I need to get in there while I'm young. I want to be young and doing this. It's not a must, but man, let's be real. You want to be young when you're doing it. And Michael Jackson had that. Prince didn't have it. He came in there fairly decent at age, but Michael was dancing and cutting up as a kid. So with all that being said, he was just a better entertainer. Jackson 5, that's all it really was about, was just entertaining. Michael probably wasn't writing the music. I'm not sure. I don't think he was. But so from the beginning, he was just a great entertainer. That's what Michael Jackson was. That's the story of Michael Jackson, the greatest entertainer. The greatest entertainer. Now, and that, like I said, that's off the strength of the time he was a kid, from Jackson 5 all the way up through his life. That's what make him the greatest entertainer, because the true test is, could you do this when you was a kid? And Michael could. Michael could do that same stuff, all that dancing and entertaining and performing. He could do all of that as a kid. That's what made him the greatest entertainer. That's what made Michael the greatest entertainer. Now, Prince was the greatest musician, and he could play all the instruments. This is what Prince fans always talk about. Prince could play all the instruments. Everything you heard that he got credit for, he did it all. He did it all. He did everything. Purple Rain, he did all of that. Little Red Corvette, he did all of that. 1999, he did all of that. And then he had all music we'll never hear. He had all these melodies and music. That's just a mystery. That's how a musician's supposed to be. Every musician got stuff that you ain't heard. That's how it's supposed to be. Michael, we never really know if Michael had stuff we never heard. He might have had a pretty decent amount of stuff we never heard as a musician, but Prince is not even, he wasn't even comparable to what Prince had that we didn't hear. Prince had all kind of stuff we ain't never heard, man. That's what's crazy. That's the crazy part. But that's how a musician should pass. Is that we ain't even hear all the stuff he did. Michael, I don't think Michael had a whole bunch of stuff. I think he had some things, but that he wanted to mess around with or something like that. I think he had a handful of stuff like that, a decent amount of stuff like that. But Prince, I think he was just like the average musician. He had all these ideas and all this different stuff that we all have that we didn't use or whatever. That's the sign of a real musician, man. You got all this stuff that you ain't you ain't even put out, and you love it for yourself. It's like your own stuff without anybody showing any love to it. It's yours. It's your babies. You know what I'm saying? You go back and listen to it. You got your own little stuff that you made, that you like, that you listen to for your personal pleasure. You know, it ain't got nothing to do with getting on or nothing. You just got, see, that's the real musician. When you got all this music that you just listen to for your own pleasure. You know, so, you know, yeah, man. Like, so that's why Prince will always be, you know, my choice. And he loved women. That was no doubt about it. You know what I'm saying? It was no doubt about it. He had a whole bunch of beautiful women. When I went to that concert, it was so many beautiful women there, it wasn't even funny. It was so many beautiful women. All kinds. I noticed that. I definitely noticed all the women at the Prince concert. Yes, sir. Yeah. But they were looking good too. Like, it was like a whole stadium full of divas. Put it like that. Tall, beautiful, all that. Yeah. So, you know, Prince just was more of a musician. He could vicariously perform through women, through bands, and it's him. The Prince was just a better musician. That's facts. That's facts. Keep in mind, something that people didn't want to point out to hurt Michael Jackson's feelings. Michael Jackson had never played no guitar. He ain't never played no guitar. Prince did. He was on there with a live guitar. Now, see, Prince, that's how you know Prince was a good man, because Prince could have crushed Michael Jackson's ego and said, man, Michael Jackson don't even play a guitar. So he couldn't be the lead of a band. Like, I mean, if you want to look at the rock star type of band, you know, that type of thing, that type of format, Michael Jackson could never be. Michael Jackson didn't play no guitar. He didn't play it. He didn't play no guitar. So Prince did. Prince did play a guitar. Prince played the piano. We ain't see Michael doing none of that. So that's the part that people forget. They're not conscious of. Michael ain't never been on stage playing no guitar and everything like that. Prince did it all the time. And what made him the perfect, that showed perfect sportsmanship between him and Michael, he never pointed out that Michael Jackson didn't play the guitar. He never pointed it out. But you could have easily, he could have crushed him right there and said, yo, you know what? Michael doesn't even play. I don't see how I'm compared to Michael Jackson, because I get on stage and play a guitar like a real big bad boy of a band. Ain't no big bad boy of a band that can't play no guitar. Michael Jackson never did that. Michael Jackson ain't never get on stage and play no guitar. And he would have been bad if he did. Dancing around and playing the guitar, but he never did it. It never happened. See, that's how you know everybody ain't got it all. Michael Jackson didn't have it all. You want me to show you where he didn't have it all? He never played a guitar. Michael ain't never played no guitar. He ain't never played no instruments. This is a musician we're talking about. He never played no music. He never played. I know people thought about it. I know people asked him about it. He never played no guitar. Prince did. Prince did. So put two and two together. Prince did play a guitar. So who you respect the most as far as musicianship? Most musicians, real musicians, are going to gravitate towards Prince, because he can get on stage and walk and chew gum. You know what I'm saying? While he playing that music, that's not easy to do. You're holding a certain face, you're performing vocals, and you're playing the guitar. You're doing like 3 different things and 4 different things, and you're interacting with your environment, with the singers, the other musicians, and all of that. You're doing all of that, all at one time. Michael would get up there and do vocals and dance around, basically dance around, and that's cool, you know. But Prince, man, you know, see, well, like I said, what made him a good sport is he did not point that out. In fact, I never really heard Prince even say, "I'm more of a musician than Michael Jackson." I never heard him say, "I'm more of a musician than Michael Jackson." I never heard him say it. He never said it. But he could have easily said, "Yo, I'm more of a musician than Michael Jackson." I mean, he could have pointed out all the same things I'm pointing out. Everything I get credit for, everything I get a Grammy for, all the instruments you hear in my music, it's all me. Ain't nobody else with it. Ain't nobody write these lyrics. Ain't nobody perform these lyrics but me. All these instruments perform, everything arranged, all these arrangements is me. Everything is me. All this stuff that I'm doing is me. Michael Jackson got teams of people. Prince never pointed this out. That's what makes him the perfect sport in the situation when people compare him to Michael Jackson. It was no comparison. And in his own time, I know he said it. I mean, it really is no comparison because we're two different type of artists. Michael is a performer. He performs his music. He dances. He performs. He can out dance me. He can outperform me. He has more original dance moves. But when it comes to music, you can get dance into many different arenas. You can get dance into all different types of arenas, right? Dance don't have to just be a recording artist. You can take dance into all different types of cultures and formats. So he's a good dancer. I am a good musician, and that's the arena of the recording artist. I'm just better in the field, overall in this field of what we're doing. In this whole business, music business, I'm just a better guy. Because I can do it all. I can write music, I can write for other people. Keep in mind, he wrote for other people. He wrote for Cyndi Lauper, didn't he? Yeah, he wrote for Manic Monday. He wrote that. Prince wrote Manic Monday. He wrote for Sinead O'Connor. Nothing Compares to You. So, I mean, that's just what I'm saying. That's what I expect of my musician, is just to be interacting with all these different people and making music with all these different people. Michael Jackson didn't do that, but he was the greatest entertainer, though. I would say that. But if you really want to say of all time, that's gonna be James Brown, the best performer of all times. I would have to give that to James Brown. Yeah, I was like, yeah. Back to all the arrangements and everything. See, James Brown probably respected Prince too, because he realized everything he get respect for, all the stuff you hear, it's all him. So I'm gonna respect that. I'm gonna respect, as a musician, all the elements. The fans ain't built like that. The fans gonna think Michael Jackson did all. Most Michael Jackson fans think he did it all. These white kids think, "Oh, Michael, look at the music, look at this. Look, Michael was just the greatest." But nobody's really pointing out, because they don't want to hurt their fans' feelings and tell them Santa Claus ain't real. You know, no disrespect, but you don't want to tell them that well, Michael didn't make that music. That you're hearing. He didn't make that. That was Quincy Jones, you know, and he didn't actually write those lyrics either. No, he didn't make those lyrics. He didn't write those songs and that song either. And he didn't perform those instruments either. Those instruments in that song. See, if real musicians gonna pick that out, point that out. But so Michael Jackson fans gave him more credit than what he deserved. I have to say it. Because he didn't. A lot of times he didn't write the lyrics. A lot of times he didn't. A lot of times he did not arrange the instruments. A lot of times he wasn't responsible for everything that you was hearing. Like musically, he was not responsible for it most of the times. Prince all the time you heard the music, everything you heard, he did. Everything you heard, he did it. And that's that. That's the difference. That's the difference. That's why, that's how most Prince fans gonna tell you. It's just no comparing Prince to Michael Jackson. And then for many lover dudes, if you love women, Prince had the most beautiful women around him. I mean, Michael didn't, he ain't had no women around him, nah. Who? Who he had around him? Every time we think about Prince long enough, we think about Apollonia. That's the first person you're going to think about, Apollonia. Then Vanity. You're going to think about Vanity, Apollonia, and then Vanity. That's how you're going to think about it. That's what you're going to, in that order. You're going to think about Apollonia, and then you're going to think about Vanity. That's what you're going to think about. So, Prince had beautiful women around him. I mean, and when we start talking about real life, the lyrics, Prince talked more about real life. He talked more about real life. If you listen to his lyrics, Prince always talked about real life. You look at Doves Cry, you look at all the songs, Purple Rain, he talked about real life. Michael Jackson talked about sci-fi worlds and all of this stuff that really a lot of people couldn't live out. He talked more about sci-fi stuff and all this, just this magical stuff. Prince talked about real life. The closest that Prince got to talking about magical stuff was Purple Rain. But Purple Rain wasn't really about Purple Rain. It was about real life with the movie. And then Prince made a movie, so that's just, and Prince openly talked about God too. Even though he was a Jehovah's Witness, he openly talked about God. You know what I'm saying? So he openly talked about God. Michael was so far up in the popular realm. He had this, how people get strange with this gumbo religion type of thing where, you know what I mean? Where you don't just straight shot shoot and say what you believe in as far as believing in God. See, Prince made it very clear. And then he was humble enough to put away his career and just really think about God from the religion that he was in, but Michael didn't ever do that either. So, that's just, I mean, people say, why compare? But because it already happened. Because it already happened. I hate to say it, it just already happened. That's just like Pac and Big, people gonna compare Pac and Big, but Biggie was the better MC. Tupac was decent when he was younger as an MC in his younger work, Strictly for My Niggas, all that kind of stuff up in there. That's why I would respect Pac as an MC, but Biggie was consistently an MC lyrically. His punchlines was better. Tupac didn't really have no punchlines. I don't remember no punchlines from Tupac. You notice that? But he was great at writing visuals, writing things you can see. But so was Biggie. Biggie is juicy. He came out talking about people calling the police on him because he's trying to take care of his daughter. I mean, that's a great rapper visual. But Biggie was just a better MC with the punchlines and all of that. He just was a better MC. Pac didn't really have no punchlines, right? He didn't really have that. He didn't really have it. But he was good at speaking from the heart, and that's what captured the hearts of his fans. You know what I'm saying? He spoke from the heart about everything. You can't take that from him. But when you talk about being an MC, that's Biggie gonna get the MC part. I mean, strictly for my niggas in that time and digital underground time with Pac, you know, you could kind of say that was the time when he was an MC. He should have stuck with Shock G. I think most Pac fans would probably say that. That's really in depth Pac fans. They would say he should have stuck with Shock G, and he should have stuck with Madonna as a woman, because Madonna would have challenged Tupac, being the kind of person she was, to stay black. No pun intended. Don't sell out to all this rah-rah gangster stuff. Stay black. Stay down with that whole... Because she was an artist herself. That was really the biggest artist that he was in a relationship with, right? Okay. So they would have had real artistry conversations, you know, where I think Madonna would have challenged him to stay black. Like the digital underground, when you was wearing the African stuff. Make that relevant. Pull that now into the 90s, the late 90s, the mid 90s. Incorporate all the stuff that you used to incorporate with Shock G into what you're doing now, because we don't see none of that now. So kind of blend it together, and that would have made it beautiful. If you would have had Pac talking like revolutionary, all the beef and everything, then he came over here with kind of like the African influence, but it was none. It was really none by the time he got to that last album. It wasn't really no African influence or nothing like that. Not to a decent degree. So I don't know what happened with him and Shock G, but for most Pac fans, they would have said, yo, he should have stayed with Shock G. I don't know what happened. But that's something that we probably will never figure out, because I think it was something personal between them, and it probably was Pac's fault. If you listen to Shock G, you can see how laid back he was as a person. So between him and Shock G, it probably was Pac's fault. You know what I'm saying? And maybe Pac was feeling like he was wanting to go in a different direction. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he was feeling like he was wanting to go in a different direction, and but Shock G was the big homie. He should have stuck with Shock G. That's what went wrong. That's what went wrong, man. You know, it should have been a balance, and he would have been way more on. His message would have been more in the direction that was authentically him. Because being a gangster wasn't Pac wasn't. I think he was just as real as a gangster. That's how I would put it. He was just as real as a gangster. Because what he did that some gangsters didn't do, he actually did shoot somebody. that undercover cop. He shot that undercover cop. So, okay. So, with that being said, he shot that undercover cop. Most gangsters ain't never done that. They ain't never shot nobody. Some thugs ain't never shot nobody. Pac actually did. So then when you say Pac wasn't no gangster, okay, well then I'm gonna say, well, Pac did shoot somebody though. He did shoot somebody. Okay, so let's balance that out, because he did shoot somebody. So that's why I would say he was real. He was just as, if he wasn't a gangster, he was just as real as one. If you want to talk about gunplay, once again, he was in the shooting range shooting guns, and you ain't seen some of your favorite rappers ever do that. Maybe because of felonies or whatever, but Pac was in the shooting range shooting guns. Okay, so how much more serious you got to be? So when we talk about gunplay, when we talk about the will to kill and the will to shoot people, he was just as real as gangsters. So that's all that matters. That's how I see it. But I do think he kind of lacked street wisdom, because he thought Biggie set him up and got him robbed. That's a young man's paranoia. You know what I'm saying? Like I've explained this before. If you in the streets, why would you far as Big and Puff, why would I rob somebody at my studio? Now maybe in California that might have been hey, it might be a little gangster like that in California, right? But in New York, ain't nobody gonna rob you at the studio on the East Coast. That's not their style. That's California, maybe. Maybe. But New York, nah. Pac, Biggie wouldn't have done that. Cause see, what I would have explained to Biggie if I was Pac, what I would have explained to Pac if I was Biggie is that, bro, this is no disrespect, but we see you as a movie star. I would break it all the way down, and that's how a criminal is gonna look at you. You a movie star. We remember you from Juice. We remember you from Poetic Justice. We remember you from all of that. So you might not be conscious of how we see you. We used to watch you on TV with our family, with our homies. So why would we try to rob this movie dude, this movie actor? And I'm not saying you're not real, but I'm saying this is what we would have to consider, that we would have to face legally, and we robbed you. That's how a criminal gonna think. A real criminal gonna say, nah, I ain't finna rob this dude and he got an agent. This dude got an agent. At that time, Pac had an agent. He had to. He was a movie star. So he had an agent. And you don't think that agent gonna get to the bottom of what happened? This is how a criminal gonna think. Nah, so I ain't robbing that person. That's a movie star. In other words, we don't know what's gonna come out of that if we rob this dude. We don't know who's gonna be breathing down our back if we rob him. This is a movie star. If I rob him, I don't know who's gonna be coming around here and all of that. So ain't no criminals gonna rob you. See, some people that really are not, I don't know how I'm gonna explain. Some people don't really know how the streets move and what people will do and they won't do. So they take things to the extreme, thinking people will just do anything, and they won't. Right? Just like these gang stalkers thought Brooklyn was going to do something to me, and they didn't. Because the streets don't move like that. So white boys think the streets would just kill somebody like me based off of them talking about I was a pedophile. Right? But the streets don't move like that. But a white boy would think that. Black people from the suburbs would think that. But that ain't how the streets move. That's just a perfect example. The streets going to come in see, that's how you know who's real. Because you ain't gonna take everything to the extreme when you think about the streets. You ain't gonna think, oh, they gonna just kill me if they hear about this, them calling me a pedophile. I know how the streets move. The streets gonna say, where's the charges? The streets gonna say, I know why he hate us too, because what all the stuff we done. So I ain't worried about nothing that the streets is talking about in my situation, because I know most people gonna understand and sympathize, because they gonna consider themselves. Okay, if all these people play with me, I would hate them too. I ain't gonna have love for you and you playing in my face. No. I ain't gonna love you unconditionally. Even God don't love unconditionally. God got conditions. How we know? Because he'll send you to hell. So while you talk about God is love and God so loved the world, what I'm gonna show you is that God got conditions. If God did not have conditions, then why people are in hell right now? If God's love don't have conditions, then why is it people in hell right now, burning right now? They burning right now, and they not getting out. There's no such thing as purgatory. Purgatory is when is a Catholicism term when you between heaven and hell, right? There is no purgatory. Okay, when you die, you either going to heaven or hell. Okay, so. With that being said, if God didn't have unconditional love, if God had unconditional love, then why is people in hell? So then that means God has conditions. So if God got conditions, how am I not going to have conditions as a human being? With anybody, just like God got conditions with everybody, how am I not going to have conditions with everybody? You're going to have conditions with every single person you meet, even people in your family. You ain't going to let nobody run over you because they in your family. So how much more you ain't gonna let some black people that ain't personalized themselves to you, but all you know is they playing in your face, but you don't know them personally. How much more are you not gonna allow them to do that and draw lines in the sand and show conditions? See, it's all about being real. That's all you gotta be, is real. I'm gonna say the worst stuff to you, just like you said some very bad things about me. That's what comes with it, bro. And so when you realize that, the streets ain't gonna attack nobody like me. No, they gonna attack you because you a lame. You came out in the streets. You think you got turn up. You think you're real, and you not. I'm over here with weapons while you throwing stuff around. That's a person that's trying to be famous. You know what I'm saying? I don't like them type of people. They clout chasers. That's what we call them. They chase clout, so you gotta ignore them. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. In order to face me, you gotta face my enemies. You gotta beat my enemies. You gotta beat people like you. I beat people like you. In order to be in my shoes, you can't just run up here like it's Mario Brothers. You can't just run up here like Mario Brothers. Well, I'm coming up to the board, the last board. This ain't the last board, buddy. It's the last board. Well, it is the last board for you, but not for you to face me. You gotta beat people that I beat. You can't come around here throwing stuff around and acting like you evil, when I know I've been around killers. I've been around people that took people's lives. They killed people. I've been around real killers that killed real people while you throwing stuff around. To me, that's a child. You see what I'm saying? I'm classy with this now. I got self-respect. That's why I don't stay in situations like this. Once you put me in a situation where I won and then you try to push somebody up on me, I'm gonna bow out gracefully. That's what, because that person don't belong to be here in the first place. You put them in that place because that's the manipulation that your community would do. But when we look at their numbers, that person as an individual has no position that is comparable to mine. And it can't be just spirituality. You got to have numbers. You got to go places. You got to go to California. You got to go to Los Angeles. You got to walk out of that without any real scars. You got to come back to the East Coast unscathed. You can't just walk up the stairs and we don't allow that. See, when you a boss man, it's not about you can't beat me in one place. You got to go beat me everywhere. You got to beat me in California. You got to beat me in Florida. You got to go do all that kind of stuff that these white folks respect. Then you can come back to me and say, I got these numbers, I got these numbers. That person don't, and I already know that. That person ain't making $1 million transactions. I'm making $1 million transactions from this room. I just sent $1 million to Vietnam. How can this person throw stuff outside this room and think that's comparable to me? Because they don't know my numbers. They don't know my stats. He think I'm a bum like him. That's what it is. That's all it is. You think I'm on your level, that witchcraft bum stuff? Nah, bruh. I'm coast to coast with this, and I talk the language of the streets. People respect me. I get respect. I get respect as an individual. See, that's what people hate, is when you get yours out the mud. You got to get yours out the mud like everybody else. You got to get your respect out the mud, buddy. You can't come up here and think you beat me. I'm going to bow out gracefully. That's what a boss going to do. I'm going to leave. That's not a coward. Listen, let's look at where we at. I already beat America. It's almost World War III. Let me explain something that you can go look on my videos before this person even next door before they was even over here. This is what I said. I could leave and go back to the South right now. That wasn't cause of pressure. That was cause of me realizing where we was in America. This is so messed up. What Trump has done in Iran, I'm way ahead of schedule with my objective, militarily speaking. I don't have to be here now. This country is going in the wrong direction so bad, I don't even got to be here. I'm done. This is overtime. And you can go, if you don't believe that I felt this way, and you think this is a cop-out excuse or whatever for me to leave, I want you to go look at my videos about maybe 10 videos before this one. Well, maybe 5 or 6, 7, 8, somewhere around in there. And you will see where I already said, look, yo, I've already won. This is overtime. I'm putting in overtime now. So once I see with that, when I'm already in that position where I realize I've won and this is overtime. Now, when somebody comes and they put in front of me to challenge me after I've won, and this is overtime, what you think I'm going to do? Just move on. Because I already won. I already knew I won before you even came here, right? So why would I stay here? To prove to you, and you a nobody. See what I'm saying? I don't care about witchcraft. It don't mean nothing to me. All they gonna do is keep putting people around us that use witchcraft. So what? We get it. You use witchcraft. So what? It's not doing nothing in the real world. That's what we keep harping on. That's what we gonna keep harping on until they do stuff in the real world, man. That's not my grade. They not my grade, bro. No. We need to see you do something. I've been challenging people on that. If you call yourself to be spiritual, that's what you think you are. Okay, why we don't see no manifestations? They see me manifesting. Oh yeah. Ain't nobody doubting it. But what are you manifesting? Oh, throwing glass on the ground. Throwing glass on the ground, bro. That's your manifestation. I'm talking about as a witch. What is your manifestation? Throwing glass on the ground, showing you got to having a hissy fit. A drug addict could do the same thing. I can go through the shelter system in New York and find somebody to do the same thing. And they ain't using witchcraft. They ain't doing nothing. They just crazy, right? I can show you somebody like you in the shelter system. But show me somebody like me in the shelter system. That's how we know, buddy. I can find you a dime a dozen. Probably schizophrenic, paranoid. I can find you a dime a dozen in the shelter system. Now find me somebody like me that's making $1 million transactions from this room. Well, I'm sending money to Vietnam. I'm sending money to Cambodia. I'm sending money to Egypt. I just sent money to Egypt. Oh, it just touched down like 2 days ago. I sent money to Lebanon, right over there with the bombs blowing up and everything over there. And you think that bum next door is on my level? I don't care what his sexuality is. That's another thing. Because you're gay, what, that put you on my level? Man, you can't be serious. That's all I'm saying. Did I not break it down? So if you stupid and you didn't hear me, that's not my fault, bro. Listen. Nobody like that should be comparable to me just because you do witchcraft. I'm going to show you what you're doing. And it still ain't nothing. It's still not nothing. Just because you read minds and playing wizardry, psychological games. We don't care. I'd rather bow out gracefully and leave you here looking stupid than think you can, before you think you can see me and go back and forth with me and you ain't done nothing. All you did was physically walk into that room and throw stuff around, and you think that makes you on my level? That's what a boss man gonna tell you. You can't just waltz into my level. You gotta go do stuff. For these bums, these teenagers, these lames, they can just do stuff against each other and they on the same level because they both bums. So all I gotta do is punch you a little bit and I win. All I gotta do is hit you with a stick and I win. I hit you with a stick and I win. Because there's nothing to challenge. There's no numbers to challenge. To me, I'm showing you I got numbers to challenge. You ain't never made $1 million transaction in your life. I put $10 on it. I bet real money that I can get. I bet you $10 you ain't never made $1 million transaction. This is the person next door in room 19. Right here at 9193 East 46th Street in Brooklyn. In room 19, that person ain't never made $1 million transaction. I do not compare myself to bums. Okay, that's real. And that's what everybody else gonna tell you. I'm part of the big boy group now. I'm making $1 million transactions. I see why people are the way they are. Because listen, man, if you ain't making no $1 million transactions, you ain't dealing with no money. How is me and you the same? And then on top of that, you ain't manifesting nothing. So these little clowns in here think it's me against you. All you doing is aggravating me. That's it. But that ain't stopping me. ain't doing nothing. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And I checked that person already. I came to the bathroom and checked into his face. He ain't say nothing. I said, yo, all the slamming the doors and everything, yo, man, come on, stop all of that, man. All he did is open the door back and forth over and over again. He did not say nothing to me. That's all he said. Oh, I just came in here. Well, that ain't what I'm talking about. That's all he said. Make it make sense. He ain't say, yo, F you or anything. He ain't say none of that. So all that same energy he got out there, he ain't have none of that when I seen him face to face. And then the next time I seen him, he's speaking to me when I'm walking down the hallway. If you was real, you wouldn't have said nothing to me. I ain't saying nothing to you. I'm just showing you how the streets think, bro. Like, listen, you spoke to me. You respect somebody like that act like he going toe to toe with me, but he halfway speaking to me at the same time. You supposed to be playing with me, right? Okay, but why you still speaking to me on the low? On the low, he's still speaking to me. I ain't speaking to you. I stick to my guns, buddy. I don't play roles. I don't play a certain role. Once you play with me, listen, I'm from North Carolina. Once you play with me, it's over. I don't play no frenemies and all that diva games and all that stuff. Nah, you just stay out my way. That's all I'm saying. Just be glad it's like that. Just stay out my way. See, somebody like that, that's not the streets. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to call the police. Because you a crazy person. I consider you a crazy person. I don't consider you a thug nigga. I don't consider you a real nigga, no. Because when I came to you as a real nigga, you said nothing. That's what I'm saying. So it's just like a female. Okay, I can't, if I check a female about making noise in the building, right? But I know I can't do too much more without somebody looking at it a certain way. This is a transsexual. If I say something, if I do a little more, oh, I'm picking on the transsexual. That's exactly what the setup gonna be. Oh, he did that because he was gay. He said he challenging him because he was gay. But hey, listen. I'm going by what the stuff people doing, right? That's all. That's all it is. Okay, so if you see me on the defense, you can't say it's because of who you are. Because I'm doing it from a defensive position. Now, if I was on the offense, then you could say I was doing it, whatever it was on the offense, then you could say I was doing it because of you being gay. You could question it, right? But if I'm on the defense and it's corresponding action to something you did, how you gonna say it's because you're gay? It ain't because you gay. It's because I regulate. That's why. Something East Coast people don't do. I regulate my situation. Now, once I see that you trying to clout chase and you trying to get attention, I ain't gonna look at you as a real nigga. I already checked you as a real nigga. I came to the bathroom door. You said nothing. You said nothing. Okay, you can't come back from that. You can't save face from it. You had your opportunity. See, I'm ready at all times. Somebody stepped to me like that, and I'm at the bathroom, and I felt justified. I would say, F you. I do what I want to do. And close the door in your face. That's what I would have did. He didn't do that. He didn't do that. He ain't have none of that kind of energy. Then he spoke to me the next day. Well, not the next day, a couple days later. Once we know it's a certain energy between me and you insult my intelligence by speaking to me. I don't even want you to speak to me. Don't speak to me for what? I'm not trying to be a nice guy. I don't have, see, it's some black people, they got a hang up where you gotta be nice to everybody. I don't. Some people feel pressure to be nice to everybody. I don't feel pressure to be nice to everybody. That's why people think I'm cold-hearted. Because listen, once you cross me, listen, I ain't talking to you. For what? Maybe it's a North Carolina attitude. I don't know. But the bottom line is, man, once you say something to me out the way, are you playing out the way and you don't think I realize it? Listen, bro, I ain't got no words for you. I ain't got nothing to say to you. I ain't got nothing to say to you. And I ain't gonna let you get no 15 minutes of fame. See, we gonna let a lame nigga get it out the mud like we all did. See, what y'all make the mistake is you get respect, you get fame, and all of this. Because you work these lame niggas and niggas recognize who you was. They put themselves in that situation. You ain't make me who I was. I revealed who I was. I showed people who I was. You didn't make me. I just showed people who I was. And they liked it, right? Okay, so you ain't had nothing to do with it. I just showed people who I was. And you can sit up and people think they made you. You a sucker, man. You see things from the internet. You see things from, how I put this, from a cookie cutter perspective. When we ain't never done nothing as black people from cookie cutter perspective. Everybody got their unique path where they got it out the mud. You look at all these singers, you look at all these rappers, you look at all these real niggas. Every nigga got their own story. You know what I'm saying? A tailor-made story. That's just their story. You know what I'm saying? And that's the same. I'm no exception. I'm the same way. Like I told you, I went to the West Coast in California. Nobody do that as a kid. I did that when I was 20 years old. I left home when I was 18. I wasn't even in my mama's house after 18. I went to the world. I came into the world after 18. I turned 20. I went to California. You're not the man that I am. You know what I'm saying? I was out there. You probably stayed at your mama's house till you was 26 years old. I bet it was, right? Half these people stayed at your mama's house till you was 26. 8 years after I did it. I was struggling in and out the streets in the shelters 20 years old. You know what I'm saying? Come on, that's what I'm saying. And at that time, it was nothing but old men in the shelter. It wasn't all these young niggas in the shelter now like it is now. I was the youngest nigga. Every shelter I went to, I was the youngest nigga. Because that's how it was in the early 2000s, from the 90s, coming in from the 90s. It wasn't no young niggas in the shelter. I was always the youngest dude back in that time. Now, you know, it's just a bum hangout. You see, you go to the shelter, ain't nothing but a whole bunch of young bums. Because ain't nobody wanting to work. Ain't nobody. I worked my first job when I was 15. That's a real job. I was making money when I was 15 years old. When you get a job, when you was 19, 17, 19, I was working at 15. I had to get a worker's permit. Okay? I had to get a worker's permit. Okay? Me and you are two different animals. I drive cars. I was driving a car at 14. Some of y'all can't even drive a car. Then we consider you special needs. You can't even drive. I had driver's license, Florida. How me and you comparable? I drive cars. I got apartments. I don't need this. I had 2 apartments where I didn't get it through no program. I went and paid bills. We paid bills. Me and my woman, I had a carpet to carpet apartment with a balcony and everything, oven and everything. This is the first time you had anything that resembled an apartment. Listen, I had 2 apartments of my own, working for it, paying my rent, nobody helping me, including my family. My family wasn't paying my rent. It was me and my woman going out there and working. So that's why I don't mind doing it like this now. See, you niggas don't know no better. I'm a grown man over here, bruh. That's all I'm saying. And you can't take it from me. Oh, I know black don't crack. I look young. I supposed to. That's part of it. That's why black don't crack. That's why they say that. Because a nigga look young. Dummy. But don't mistake that for you to play with me. I did my first felony when I was 16. I started shooting guns when I was 15 years old. Okay? I did my first felony, breaking in the house, stealing guns. Breaking in the house, stealing guns, real guns. And I got a gun out of that situation. I done felonies, buddy. You ain't talking to no wet behind the ear punk. I do felonies, buddy. That's why this whole building is quiet. Why you think it is? I was with somebody listen. When I was on that side, I was with a person on death row, bruh. This dude was on death row. Okay? I was dating somebody on death row. He came off of death row. That's the worst, violent, most dangerous people you could play with. It's one thing to say you're a felon. It's one thing. That's all you're going to have in this building. I said death row. I said death row. That's why I told downstairs, Don't play in my, listen, I told them lame niggas don't play. Listen, bro. I've been around somebody that was on death row, bro. That's too dangerous for you. And see, now you see how cool I've been. I've been around somebody on death row, a death row inmate. Yes, that matters. That's what I'm saying, bruh. And these niggas in Brooklyn don't even know that. I done checked niggas out here on Utica and they know it. Won't you tell these niggas in the building I done checked niggas out there in the streets? In this same neighborhood. When they ain't done that. Oh, they'll bounce around here, but they're homosexual out there. You gonna walk around obviously gay, so nobody don't do nothing to you. Oh, I know I'm right. You gonna be a homosexual out there. I'm gonna talk like this the same way out there. They seen it. I check dudes out there. Now you go do that. That's all I'm saying. Oh, it's done. What is done is done. What is done is done. I walked up on dudes talking about, oh, he crazy. Oh, okay, that's okay. But you got checked. You got checked though. I done came up on dudes in Utica, 3 black people. This is black people. Oh, most black people know, oh, they gonna tell me to calm down. That's all black people tell me to do. I'm part Latino. Then you didn't know that, did you? You thought I was just a black guy. I'm black, Latino, and Filipino. I got way more turn up than you. You don't want to see me? You don't want to see me, buddy. The devil set you up. My temptation is not to hurt you. That's my temptation. And that's real, bro. I'm not saying I'm invincible, but bro, listen, that's the balance. That's how you know I'm real. I'm not saying I'm invincible, but man, I'm not the one that need to be told that. Now, am I? These people around here breaking glass 1 o'clock to 11 o'clock at night need to be told, bro. Listen, man, you're not invincible, bro. I don't know what drugs you smoking. You smoking weed or what? Crystal. You know, gay people love crystal. Listen, man. Listen, bro. I've been around certified killers, man. You know what I mean? People that cried when they killed people. You ever heard a man tell you he cried when he killed somebody? You ever heard the real stories about from real killers? Not that hip hop stuff. Not what we don't really know. Not that part. Not that. No, where killers tell you they cried when they killed somebody. When they realized they took somebody's life. You know what the first thing happened to most people? Real niggas too. You know what happened to most real niggas? They cry. They cry when they kill somebody. Oh, that's how you know I've been around real niggas. Oh, because they ain't gonna tell you, yeah, I killed him and that's a crazy nigga. You know what most dudes gonna do? I'm not saying every dude gonna do it. It's depending on the situation. But most dudes gonna cry. Most dudes gonna cry if they kill somebody. I done talked to more than one killer that I was